Welcome into No Punt Intended, presented by Club Fantasy. It is bittersweet because it's Week 16 championship week, but that also means no more fantasy football. Sad face. Joining me, as always, Joshua Hudson and Ryan Weiss to break down championship week. But of course, we had to bring on someone who is, much more talented.
The greatest Christmas present ever.
Yes. Santa's reindeer as apparent by her headband. Stepmom Lauren. Thanks, Lauren.
Hi, thank you for having me. These are really cool. They actually change color. It's like the sequences, so I can make them gold or red.
Just like a real reindeer.
Just like a real reindeer. Just have my little red nose on there, which I didn't do. Hi, it's championship week. It's crazy.
I know.
We didn't even think we were going to have a football season, and then here we are, championship week.
Just 16 weeks ago, everyone thought that their team sucked because their number one draft pick got injured. Just 16 weeks ago.
I felt that all 16 weeks.
Yeah.
It was not good for me this year, but on paper, my teams look amazing.
That's perfect on paper. That's great.
Looks great. And then it's like, oh, no.
Good thing they play the games on paper.
Exactly, right? Like they kind of looked good for a minute.
So just a special, a special RIP to those that drafted Ezekiel Elliott, Saquon Barkley, Christian McCaffrey,
Joe Mixon.
Michael Thomas, Joe Mixon. Who am I missing?
Godwin, you can throw in that.
Chris Godwin.
Golladay.
I was thinking
3 of my wide receivers in one draft, by the way.
I want to save this. This is a good episode idea for later on in the offseason.
Great episode idea,
the fantasy
actually.
graveyard.
Oh my God, it needs to be a Festivus episode, airing of the grievances.
I like it.
I
like it.
We might do that instead of doing for week 17, the Start Sit show. We might just do a fantasy grievances episode.
Yeah, I think that's a great
Let
idea.
it out.
Why not?
That's
Drop
just
it in the morning, and
like
we'll have a big RIP for you.
Yeah.
A big RIP. I hate to see it. But, of course, always invite your questions. We are sure, if we get a lot of questions, that means great. You've been listening to us and you made it this far. You're either in your championship or trying not to be the loser. So, we've steered you in one direction. And Faith is in here. Hello, Faith.
Hi, Faith.
We're going to start, of course, with 3 up, 3 down, upsides, downsides, and Ryan's stream of the week. I'm just excited for the 3 downs because, oh boy, 3 straight weeks I have been so right about the damn Pittsburgh Steelers. That pile of garbage football team. I cannot wait to destroy them this entire episode.
Peek behind the curtain, but our show notes are hilarious. It shows actual notes in the show notes. I'm going through it and I'm like, is that a whole line of just ha ha ha?
Yes. Yes.
Just 3 weeks ago, I declared they would go undefeated.
Little did Ryan know that 4th round pick out of North Carolina State, Ryan Finley, would tear that defense to shreds. Little did he know.
Quick about Ryan Finley. I don't know if you guys noticed this. I did, because I was watching with absolutely no skin in the game whatsoever. But Ryan Finley was smiling the entire time.
Yep.
The entire time. He's like, I didn't die. Yes. This is great.
He was so happy. So
like,
happy.
This dude is cool as hell.
I love it.
Wow.
I'm rooting for him. I hope,
He's got really skinny legs too. Like, he's freaky legs.
Just skinny
like
white dude.
my legs are bigger than that. Like, just be careful.
Yeah.
I mean,
Don't
Robbie
try
Anderson.
too hard, Ryan.
I know. He's like running, and I'm like, oh my God, their toothpicks are gonna break. Oh my God, be careful.
I think that every time Robbie Anderson catches the football. Talk about
He's a very
tiny
long,
legs.
lanky person.
Yes.
I don't know how it took me this long to realize it. I did not realize how small Marquise Brown is until
Dude,
this
he's
point.
like 5'8".
Yeah,
Tiny.
I'm like,
He's tiny.
Whoa! Like he looks like an actual child out there.
Dude, they had a running back for the Rams come in. His name is just beyond me at this point, but he's like 5'6". I'm like, oh my God, I'm as tall as he is.
Like I remember the little
That's
players,
really
but
small.
I say, but usually the little players have a good like BMI, so they look beefed up. Hollywood Brown just looks like a small child.
Yeah.
So it makes you wonder why all the draft experts rated him as the number 1 wide receiver coming out of college.
Yeah.
Because he's related to Antonio Brown.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly, Lauren.
Look, I'll give him that. He's quick, but outside of that, like I saw a lot of Tavon Austin in his game. Like,
By the way, Josh, it's lovely to be able to see your face.
Thank you.
It's that I don't.
Oh, with the light. Yeah, thank you
The
for
light.
that, Lauren.
Oh,
You're welcome.
wow. Okay.
His face is always in shadow, and I can never see his face. So he came and visited, and I had an extra like ambient light, and I was like, just take this, please, so that we can
Oh.
see your face when you're on
Yes,
Club
I have
Fantasy.
some light
No
hitting
pun
me this way
intended.
now.
Oh,
Okay.
Merry Chrysler, Josh. I didn't get you anything. So, you know what? I got you a good Eagles quarterback is what I got you. How about that? A good Eagles
The
quarterback.
greatest gift ever.
That
Greatest
hurts.
gift ever.
That hurts just a little.
Yep. Just some quick news before we get
Things.
into the ups and downs. Dwayne Haskins still an idiot. No longer
What
a captain.
the fuck?
Social media.
You've got to be kidding me. You've got
Idiot.
to be kidding me.
Hold on. Can we? This freaking team, because it's not just Dwayne Haskins. There was something that also did come out and say that Dan Snyder paid off a former female employee $1.6 million to stay quiet about sexual assault allegations. So, you know,
Really? I didn't hear that.
Dan Snyder, top of the line human being.
And then he just came out today, something about getting
Oh, wait, I
strong
did
armed
hear that.
by his co-owner.
Look, the only way Washington's able to move on is to move on from Dan Snyder any way possible. But Dwayne Haskins, no longer a captain. I believe he was fined $40,000 by the team. His status of playing Sunday is up in the air, so we will see.
I feel like they would have immediately cut him if they weren't in the QB situation they were in.
Oh,
I
100%.
agree.
Probably.
I agree.
100%.
Because if Alex Smith can't go, it's like Steven
It's-
Montez or
it's-
Taylor Heineke.
Taylor Heineke's the only quarterback on the roster outside of
It's
Dwayne Haskins.
crazy.
Now, didn't
what-
Heineke play with Rivera?
Ron
in
Rivera,
Carolina?
2018.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, he was in Carolina. You wonder, Kyle Allen and Taylor Heineke have been their two backups this year. Oh,
Yeah.
Wonder
Yeah.
why.
Makes sense.
Yeah. George Kittle is practicing. That's all. But Josh Rosen signed off the Bucks practice squad to
Yeah.
the 49ers active roster. And real quick from our
Shout out
friend
to
John,
Lindsay, okay.
it sure does hurt.
Oh, hi, John.
Get it? John.
That was rude, John. Very rude.
I
And just real
laugh.
quick about Washington, they
Sure.
need to like disinfect their entire franchise as well as all of their hospitals where their players have surgery.
Yeah.
Just saying.
They are.
Everyone gets infected when they go have surgery in Washington. It's like Alex Smith had to have 17 surgeries. I'm pretty sure he got
The-
gangrene. I don't
the
know. I'm
Browns
just saying
the Browns actually had that same problem, I think, 5 years ago, where staph infection. It was actually longer than that because it was when Kellen Winslow was.
that. Well, it's
still
the
around.
Browns, so
Yeah, but I'm saying
Cleveland.
hospitals are disgusting.
yeah, true.
Well,
True.
you know, people die there. Doesn't have to be blunt or anything, but yeah.
This
That
one's
got
dark.
dark.
I mean, like,
Is Krampus going to be joining us later?
I'm just saying, like, it's not the cheeriest place in the world. So,
We went from like infection and gangrene to people die there.
Yeah.
Like, it's dirty.
Probably from staph infection. Thanks,
Probably.
Cleveland.
yeah, all the Browns' fault. All the Browns' fault. All right, into the three ups here.
Cleveland.
Let's start with Lauren here. You leaving your first two for Ryan, so I'll get to
I
Ryan's
am.
afterwards. But you got Tony Pollard, Giovanni Bernard, and Zach Pascal. I would love to hear your thoughts on Mr. Tony Pollard, because the thought here in Dallas, listening to local radio, is that he looked great, but he only averaged about 2 yards per carry up until that big rip. So, how do you feel about Tony Pollard?
He's better than Ezekiel Elliott. Like whatever. Whatever. He was more explosive. I go by that eyeball test here. The numbers obviously don't say that on
Yes.
paper, but the eyeball test, he looked so much more exciting. He looked more productive. It had a different feel to that game. But what really impressed me was his receptions. I think he had 6 for like 63 yards or something.
Yep.
It's just incredibly necessary. A pass catching running back in an offense like that. I really liked it. And I was happy because at least it was a surprise inactive from Ezekiel Elliott. But if you were able to, stash Tony Pollard, or if he was on your waiver wire, he was someone that you still could pick up or start, and he was productive. What really upset me about that whole thing, I actually wrote about it for Roto World, is like there were so many irrelevants. Like Zach Pascal. Who started Zach Pascal on a team?
Everybody
that's
was like,
in
"Oh,
the
T.Y. Hilton's the
semifinals?"
moon."
Yeah, they're like,
Yeah,
T.Y.
me,
Hilton,
hi.
Michael
And
Pittman.
if it's not Ty, it's Michael Pittman. Exactly.
Exactly. And it's like, nope, Zach Pascal's like 2 touchdowns. What? And that sucks.
What amazes me about Pascal, when he started, I believe it was 2 or 3 years ago, was when I believe was his first season, or when he first really got a chance on a roster. He had drop issues, like heavy drop issues. And for some reason, every year he is underrated when it comes to being just a receiver on an NFL roster. He started this year on a practice squad. Like, he wasn't even on the Colts active roster to begin the season. So if a team is looking for a cheap wide receiver too, Pascal can fill that role. Like, he can
was doing
really
it last
fill
year too.
Exactly. So I'm surprised at how underrated he is. I love that you brought up Zach Pascal.
I like him a lot too. I liked him last year also. He had some productive
great.
games.
Yeah.
And then he didn't.
It happens. Shit happens. The two guys that Lauren had originally had, but going to say for Ryan, speaking of Jalen Hurts, Ryan, you have
And just
Jalen
real quick,
Hurts.
I'm going to interrupt you. So, Ryan, I literally did not read down to your part of the show notes. And I was like, Scott, I literally spent like a half an hour on these because I'm like, I need to make them really good. So I had these two. And then I'm like, I should probably read what everybody else wrote. And I'm like, damn it, Ryan.
We're allowed to have
No.
the same, Lauren.
I
Yeah.
know.
I was gonna
That's
say
why
we
I
all
wanted-
named the same quarterback. So
I wanted to leave it for you.
Yep.
Take it away.
Yep.
I'm still bossy. I'm just taking over for Joe's job. Anyway, so Ryan, tell us
right,
about
Mom.
your
Gosh.
So Jalen Hurts, Marcus Mariota, Salvin Ahmed. I want to hear about Marcus Mariota and his chances of being a starter next year.
Next year, I feel like it has to happen just when you see the trash that's going on around the league. Now, the one thing I think that's going to hurt his chances for next year, and I'll get into this week's game here in a second, is what I have for Jalen Hurts is these rookie quarterbacks are crazy special this year. And I think everyone's going to be chasing that next year, and they're going to want to give their rookies a chance early. But I feel like after seeing what you saw out of Mariota and the fact that he looks like he can run the football again, which we weren't seeing towards the end in Tennessee, maybe Tennessee was the problem. You just get down in a place. Now, the one thing we have to take into consideration, and it's the reason I don't like Mariota this week, is prepping for Derek Carr is a little bit different than prepping for Mariota. So I just don't think the Chargers were ready for that. But the guy went over 300 total yards, 2 touchdowns. And if nothing else, that throw to Darren Waller just needs to be
gorgeous.
in every highlight reel for this
pretty.
season.
He looked so good too. I think that's what was so fun.
Well,
about
he also
Mariota.
looks like he's aged 10 years.
That's what I was going to
So
say
with-
is having a
With age
veteran
comes maturity. We know
having a veteran backup quarterback though who could come in, like, they weren't panicked. He Mariota couldn't have cared less. He's like, because he's on a 2-year deal. So that's the other issue with him starting next year is the Raiders. He would either have to outplay Derek Carr, and it was brought up on the show on Thursday was Mariota probably would have looked better than Carr in training camp and taken this job. But then Mariota hit the IR right when the season started.
Yeah.
Carr played well enough to keep his job at that point. So there's a lot going on there where I know, didn't they just pay Carr not that long ago though? I mean, not that
I mean,
matters.
he's
in
still
the
on a
NFL anymore,
long-term
so-
I
deal,
think he's
but
in his third
it's-
year or something.
Yeah,
Yeah, if I'm a team that needs a quarterback, I'll trade a 4th round pick for Mariota.
Yeah.
Cheap ass starting quarterback right there.
At this point, why wouldn't you trade a 4th just for Derek Carr? He has a very affordable starting quarterback salary. He's actually been very efficient this year. He hasn't been terrible.
Well,
Yeah,
He's
but-
been Derek Carr.
But
And we've
Marcus
kinda-
Mariota's even more.
Well, I
affordable.
understand that, but there's a reason that as the Raiders and Mike Mayock, who had Mariota as his number 1 quarterback in that draft with Jameis, that's why they went out and got this guy. I have no doubt that Mariota is probably going to be John Gruden's Rich Gannon, and that's going back some time. But this is what John Gruden does. He likes veteran quarterbacks that can come in and move around the pocket. Marcus Mariota can do that.
And Washington has played themselves out of the QB sweepstakes. So they would be a team that has to make that phone call for one of those 2 quarterbacks. So,
Had John added in, Carr's only a $2.5 million dead cap next year.
Oh, wow.
So they
He's
could
gone.
cut him. Yeah, they could cut him.
Wow. That's
Yeah,
it.
at that point,
That's an easy cut.
you try
Wow,
to
I
trade
did
him,
not
and
know
if
that.
not, yeah, cut him.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
that's an easy cut. All right, Josh. And also, everyone, we see all of these questions. We appreciate it. Don't worry. We are going to get to them right after we run through these ups. Before we get to the downs, we'll do it right in between. Josh, you have Calvin Ridley saying he's the new wide receiver 1. David Johnson, who's shocked the world with 11 catches for over 100 yards. But of course, we want to hear about the new and best quarterback currently dressed in a Philadelphia Eagles uniform. Actually, Wentz may be 3rd now with Greg Ward on the roster.
At this point, probably. Goodness gracious, he's been bad this year. But no, Jalen Hurts. So I remember, and Chris is in the chat here. Chris and I, we were talking this offseason, and I was like, I really like Hurts coming into this draft. I think he's got a lot of potential, especially from a fantasy perspective because of his legs, right? We saw the legs on full display 2 weeks ago against New Orleans. 106 rushing yards, was very fantasy relevant, helped teams out if you had the balls to start them. For me last week, it was, okay, now teams can prepare for the legs. What's he going to do with his arm? Oh, 3 touchdowns, 4 total touchdowns, QB1 on the week. It's like, what can't this guy do right now? He looked great throwing the football. Absolutely fantastic throwing the football. If you're Philly, you're doing anything and everything you can to move on from Carson Wentz after this year. There's no way, first off, that you're going to keep a quarterback on your roster as a backup with an over $30 million salary. Then you include, oh, hey, I've got this cheap kid, Jalen Hurts, who can play football. Yeah, let's build around this guy. So just do it. Start him the rest of the year. Move on from Wentz. Take the dead cap hit. You know what's going to happen. You can even it out if you play your cards right. The salary cap is a figment of the imagination in the NFL these days. So
yeah,
teams will find a way.
So his dead cap number is almost
it's ridiculous. And Philly's so far over the cap. It's absolutely ridiculous. But if
60 million, you heard that correct, Lauren. 60.
I know. But if you move on from him,
taking a drink of my cocktail. I mean,
yeah, but there's a sector where you have a window to move him, that where you don't have to pay him to lock in his salary for 2022, which then makes it more feasible for another team to then take on that salary. Because you also remember too, when a team takes on that contract, they're not taking on the bonus money. Yeah. That's Philly's responsibility. That's the dead cap that Philly's getting hit with. And then he becomes a bottom 20 quarterback in terms of salary for next year.
So he's attractive to another team. It just
correct
sucks for Philly.
Correct. And that's the point. Because look, we saw the potential with this guy. He was literally carrying this team last year. He was an MVP frontrunner in 2017 before he got hurt. He is the reason that Philly made it into the playoffs, got a first-round bye, and ultimately won the Super Bowl. Because Wentz put them in that position. Yes, Foles led the team, but he got them in that position. Foles doesn't get us in that position from start to finish, and I think we all know that.
Oh, no. No, I thought Nick Foles was going to do great in Jacksonville. All right. I also have Jalen Hurts as my first up, and I'm going to say I am most likely going to be wrong about Jalen Hurts. I said he doesn't have the ability to throw at the NFL level when he came out, and very clearly he was listening to the podcast and has fixed that.
I didn't believe either, Joe. You and I was not all about that hype train at all. I'm like, then I was
look,
like, oh.
From his year from Alabama to Oklahoma, he improved his throwing motion. From the draft to now, he's legit.
Yeah, he looks great.
DJ Moore, I just need a text anytime you're going to be featured in the offense. Please. That would be primo, my friend. Tweet it. I don't care. Just let me know you're going to be featured in the offense.
You guys should get a secret signal so when he tweets a certain emoji, you know.
Yeah, it's like those Chip Kelly cards on the sideline to show the plays coming in. Like that's what we need from DJ Moore.
Yes.
I just like some kind of word in an interview or something like Raptilian. There you go, Casey Kasem.
And this one, this one is an ode to our buddy Lee, because I put Lee in the right direction of David Montgomery instead of Miles Sanders. So David Montgomery to the moon, ladies and gentlemen. Josh, you're an idiot.
He was my trade for candidate well before these last couple series, because it's one of the things I did prior to the trade deadline for Roto World is on the Monday Daily Doses. It's early, target opportunities for these players, and his playoff schedule is ridiculous. And he has 100% capitalized on 24 plus points, and it's not going to slow down. And he's going to crush it in week 16. Also 100% agree.
Even if it wasn't his playoff schedule, the simple fact that nobody else touches the ball as a running, Cordero Patterson sees the second most carries on the team. Ryan Nall is ignored completely.
Who?
Exactly.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's Cordell Patterson when they want to run a guy with 4.3 speed that doesn't understand where the hole is, just going to run over people.
I think the best thing that happened for David Montgomery in the Chicago Bears offense was
His
Tariq
bad
Cohen getting hurt.
defenses. Oh,
No, it was Tariq Cohen getting hurt because now they're seeing what David Montgomery can do in the passing game.
They're
And
utilizing
hitting
him a
as
little
piece.
bit differently, I think, than they have in the past. It's not as much of a pass catching role as Tariq Cohen has been, but he has been involved a little bit. There was one pass that he caught. I think it was for was it like 15 to 20 yards?
Yeah.
It wasn't like it was just a little dump off or a screenplay. I mean, he was the one that was open that moved the chains in that game. And he was there, caught the ball. I think he had a couple of yak yards, and there were 2 defenders right on him. It was a really good
And
play.
that's what David Montgomery does best.
So-
it's not
Okay, Monty.
speed, it's not long game, it's breaking tackles. When you
Yeah,
get
he
him in
did
a
great.
position to break tackles, that's what he's going to do.
I'm happy for him.
so Josh, I'll agree. Tariq Cohen definitely helped. What also helped is the Green Bay Packers defense, the Detroit Lions defense, the Houston
Absolutely.
Texans defense,
Then they play the
the
Panthers.
Vikings defense, the Jaguars defense this week, and in Week 17, the Packers defense.
Again,
Literally perfect schedule.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
why he
Yep.
was my number 1 trade for target was David Montgomery.
Couldn't ask for better. All right, let's fly through these questions here, and then we'll get to the downs from our buddy Dave. What's good, fam? Loaded
Dave.
question. He made the finals. Congrats, Dave. 2 running backs, 2 flex. We'll start with the running backs here. Zeke, Tony Pollard, David Johnson, Chris Carson. Give me 2 running backs out of that group.
No.
All right. Well, if
I'm
if
trying to
Pollard,
think who these guys play.
yeah. So if Zeke doesn't play again, that's smash start for Tony Pollard.
He plays the Eagles.
Who's Houston playing?
I am looking at the Week 16 schedule right now and pulling it
Houston
up.
plays
Cincinnati.
Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Yeah,
David
David
Johnson.
Johnson. is
Yeah,
the mark
David
for me.
Johnson. So for me, it's going to be Pollard and David Johnson. Now the
I
question
hate
is whether or not you play Zeke if Zeke plays. And now, and again, you're talking
Zeke
about
has traditionally destroyed
If
Philly.
we're talking PPR here, I do like David Johnson better than Chris Carson. But if this is a non-PPR, I guess we're not using standard anymore because there is no such thing as standard. Then I agree with you on this one, Ryan. I may lean Chris Carson a little bit, but
Oh no, you misheard me. I hate Chris Carson this week.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm not in on
I thought you said you were thinking, but
No.
I don't necessarily know if I mind Chris Carson in a standard league, but my caveat to that is that they now have 3 healthy running backs. So it's not really just his room
Exactly.
anymore.
And
So
they've
that's
been
why
looking to not use him.
yeah, I know.
Yeah.
There's Fragile is I think his nickname. I don't know. Fragile. And so I think Pollard for sure if he plays and David Johnson. And then I guess you kind of have to play Zeke if he's healthy. That just stinks.
You
I hope he's
play
I hope he's not. What a terrible thing to say.
Yeah,
I hope he's not healthy.
if Zeke's healthy, you play him. If not, you go Pollard and David Johnson.
And Dave, have
then-
some really strong spirits on hand. And
Yeah.
like Pepto-Bismol. That is how you get through those really, really hard games to watch when you know you're like, I hate fantasy football for that
And then now we have some great options at flex. Corey Davis, Russell Gage, Nelson Aguilar. We need
All
2
those
of them.
guys have terrible matchups this week.
I would probably go Corey Davis and Russell Gage just because Miami's secondaries just look good. They've just looked good.
Green Bay's allowed the 7th fewest yards to receivers this year.
My only thing is, won't it be AJ Brown seeing Zaire or Jair or whatever
It'll
the hell
be
his damn name
AJ
is?
Brown
Yeah.
seeing Jair Alexander, and also to add to the fact that Green Bay's only allowed the 7th most.
7th
to-
fewest.
or se-
rushing
yeah,
yards.
sorry,
I mean, they
second
give
round.
up a ton of rushing yards.
That's
Which again,
my
it makes
point.
you think. It's like, why is Tannehill going to be throwing if all they're going to do is hand the ball to Derrick Henry?
See, I thought that too, and then Corey Davis caught a 75-yard touchdown, so it
Yeah,
really
I
threw
mean,
me for a loop.
I think that with Davis, I don't think he has much of a ceiling this week. I think his floor is probably going to be 8 to 10 points.
See,
And
looking
I
at those
don't-
wide receivers, I think I'd get Chris Carson into my flex because
That's,
I don't.
yeah,
like
I mean, I don't love Carson
at
either
all.
because of the splits that's been going on with Carlos Hyde. Like Carson's day could have been so much better if he'd been the one that rip off that 50-yard touchdown run and not Carlos Hyde.
Yep.
But the Rams' run defense has been solid, so I don't love it, but
Tell that to the
I like
Jets.
Carson more than Gage against Kansas City, and especially Aguilar versus.
So
No.
yeah, then go.
I do want to
Carson
put a
and Corey
caveat in
Davis.
here about the Green Bay Packers defense. Throughout the season, they are very, very stout. But during this time of year is very, very particular where you want to look at not just the whole season long stats, but you want to look at the last 4 weeks and you want to look at the last 2 weeks, last 3 weeks. That is very telling about what that team is going to be doing. And actually, the Green Bay Packers have been a little bit loose with wide receivers. In fact, out of, I think, 3 out of the last 4 games, they've allowed a touchdown to a wide receiver. So you're going to have to play the game of, is it going to be AJ Brown or is it going to be Corey Davis? Not quite sure, but they're not as, I think, as shored up as they were in the beginning of the year, maybe because that had to do with schedule. I'm not sure. Yeah. But in the last 4 weeks, they have allowed over 600 yards, I believe, and 3 touchdowns in the last 4 weeks.
Well, and that's the thing. If you're banking on touchdowns, AJ Brown has 10 of them. Corey Davis, I think, has 5 or 6. Yeah. Like, I'm gonna bank.
And Corey Davis is like perpetually hurt. He's like, oh, my ankle or like my knee. It's like always this just stress of being a AJ Brown manager, of which I am. And you're like, get up! Oh my God, walk it off. You're fine. Put some Robitussin on it. You'll be good.
So here it is, Dave. Just to wrap up, so we can move on. Zeke, if he's healthy. If not, Tony Pollard, DJ, Chris Carson, Corey Davis. Yeah, there's your guys to roll with. All right, from Victor, he needs 3 in a PPR. James Robinson, David Johnson, Lev Bell, Kenyon Drake, Salvin Ahmed, Giovanni Bernard, Tony Pollard.
Victor, you're just bragging here.
Yeah.
I mean, pretty good running back.
An embarrassment.
I'll tell you right now, the Dolphins activated Myles Gaskin,
3,
so Ahmed is off the table for me.
Ahmed's dead.
Yeah. So we're picking 3 here.
That Carol Baskin.
Yeah. Freaking Carol Baskin. Okay, so I'll start, I guess. David Johnson, Giovanni Bernard. If Zeke isn't healthy, Tony Pollard.
And if Zeke is
Le'Veon Bell, it hurts.
There you go. You got the right answer, Joe. I'm so proud of you.
It hurts.
It's okay, Joe.
Oh, it
I actually
hurts.
agree.
I am proud too.
Yep.
It hurts.
Yeah, I would agree with you. I would go here. I would start Le'Veon Bell and not even worry about it. So I would do David Johnson, Le'Veon Bell, and Tony Pollard.
We're going back to 2016 with Bell and Johnson.
There you go.
I know. If Zeke is out, then Tony Pollard. But yeah, I guess I would agree with you on that one. I think your safer play is going to be Giovanni Bernard if Zeke.
Yeah, Houston gives up like top 5 points to running back.
Gio to the moon. Yeah. Oh, Gio!
How many players are going to the moon, Joe? Stop sending them all into outer space.
Gio to the moon, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. So I mean, you have a healthy mix, but your must starts are David Johnson and Le'Veon Bell.
Yeah, I mean, if you need a safe floor, Robinson, but that matchup is not great this week.
Oh, we got Rum Boys in here. Hello.
Yeah,
I'm too far up in the chat, so I can't see.
Yeah, I don't have your responsibility, so I'm just scrolling through it.
Yeah, no, go nuts. Go nuts, my friend. Okay. From our buddy Sean, who runs the show, happy holidays. Got a championship question. Not looking good for James Robinson.
Nope.
He can flex Fournette, Cooper Kupp, Wayne Gallman, that bitch Carol Gaskin.
I love it.
I would flex Myles Gaskin in a heartbeat. That Raiders defense sucks.
If Ronald Jones is out, Fournette is a hell of a play this week.
Oh, true, against Detroit.
Against Detroit, their run defense is atrocious. It is so bad. So my call here is if Rojo is still unavailable, my smash start here would be Leonard Fournette.
Yes,
I bet.
Again, 50, going back to like 2016.
I bet $50 on the over for Derrick Henry's rushing yards because I was playing against him in fantasy, so it really lessened the blow to win $50.
My biggest worry around Myles Gaskin, because Myles Gaskin has a great matchup this week with the Raiders. And the Dolphins have leaned on their lead back, but I don't know that we've seen Ahmed and Gaskin healthy in the same game.
I agree with you.
How going to use that.
That's what I was going to say, because a lot of people are completely writing off Ahmed, and I'm not 100% sold that it's going to be the Myles Gaskin show. I'm not saying it's going to continue to be the Salvon Ahmed show.
Yeah,
but it may be a very annoying combination of both.
Yeah,
which
split is no good for fantasy.
Yeah, it's not. And especially with Tua, I think it's interesting how they're going to use the running back field with Patrick Laird, who's in there too. And Tua kind of has a thing for Patrick Laird. So it'll be interesting to see how they use them. But I think you're going to want somebody here that you know is going to have the guaranteed touches. And if Rojo's out, that's going to be Leonard Fournette.
Yeah. All right.
I'm with you 100% on Fournette. Yeah, absolutely.
There you go. You got some good options there, Sean. To our resident ER nurse, Jenna, does she start Zeke Pollard or Leonard Fournette or Jeff Wilson? I think we're on the Fournette train if Rojo is out.
That's tough, though, Jenna.
If Rojo is in and Zeke is hurt, Tony
Pollard.
Pollard. There's a lot of ifs in this question.
If everybody plays, if all everybody plays, I'm playing Jeff Wilson in this matchup. So.
Yes.
Interesting.
Because everything else is going to be split.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah, and
Arizona's
Mostert re-aggravate his ankle injury.
Done.
Yeah,
they said Mostert won't play again this season.
Yeah,
Shocking.
Yeah.
yeah.
He's
And
on
against
IR.
Arizona Saturday afternoon.
Oh, yeah, it's
Yeah.
a Saturday game.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely don't hate Wilson. So.
Keep in mind, the 49ers don't have to travel for that game.
Yeah.
So,
So just to reiterate what Ryan was saying, because it's profound and earth-shattering. Well done. If everybody plays, it's Jeff Wilson. If Zeke does not play, we
Pollard
like
won.
Pollard.
Yep.
yes.
Here's
I'm
the good
gonna
news
say
here.
that.
Here's
We'll
the
go
good
with your
news.
gut on that one.
So
that's two great options.
Fournette plays the 1:00 game on Saturday, so we'll know first thing Saturday going in whether Rojo's playing or not.
That's big
And
time.
I wouldn't gamble
Yeah.
at all. If Rojo is out, I wouldn't even wait on the Dallas
Yeah.
Cowboy news, even though Pollard might be the better play.
Good
If
point.
Rojo's
Fournette.
out, I'm throwing
Yeah.
Fournette right into that lineup.
Perfect.
So.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I agree.
Fournette. All right. From our buddy Michael says he's going to the ship. DJ Moore or Robbie Anderson. in
Damn,
the
that's had to
full
have been a fun
PPR.
season trying
Oh,
to guess.
we were talking about this over DMs this past week, and I was like, man, I have no freaking clue who to start. I don't know which one Alexander is going to be on, and of course it's DJ Moore. Luckily, he squeaked through. Here's my assumption this week. I'm going Anderson. Carolina is playing Washington. Who's Washington's head coach? Ron Rivera. Who did Ron Rivera coach last year?
DJ.
New York Jets.
He knows how to stop DJ Moore. He knows how
Not
to
only that, he respects the hell out of DJ Moore.
Exactly.
So where other coaches, they may have to take their pick on who the number one is.
Yeah.
Rivera looks at that team and he thinks DJ Moore is the one.
That's
Did
why
DJ
I
Moore
would
go
ride
to
with
the
Robbie
strip
Anderson.
club without a mask.
I mean, he did have the COVID, so I'm going to say yes.
The
Did have the
COVID.
COVID.
You heard it here
I'm
first.
like,
DJ Moore
Rivera
got COVID
respects
from a
DJ
stripper.
Moore. I don't know how much anyone has respect for Dwayne Haskins at this point. I also did hear that he stood somebody up in an interview. They flew him into, I think it was Lombardi. He totally stood him up. And just didn't show up.
They teach him so well over at Ohio State.
I'd say the worst part
So
is I
well.
advocated for this dick at the beginning of the season.
Oh, I did too. I had him as my sleeper.
And now I'm from Ohio. I am an Ohio State fan. Fuck Dwayne Haskins. When
I watch him walk, I'm like, don't your knees he's knock-kneed. I'm like, that cannot be comfortable running. His knees are gonna knock into each other.
Can you imagine thinking he was a top 15 pick in the draft? Woo. Robbie Anderson is the answer there, Michael.
Yeah.
And then I think this one's going to be quick because Ryan has Austin Hooper as his stream of the week. Jordan Reed or Austin Hooper. Ryan, I'll let you take this one.
Hooper by so far. It's the goddamn Jets.
Goddamn Jets.
So start Harrison Bryant and David
Hold on.
Njoku.
Hold
Good
on.
luck.
Hold on. We say that.
Hooper
We'll
is
get to the downs. Don't worry. Chris, I pray to God you're still in the chat by the time we get to the downs. Because, oh boy, am I ripping the Rams a new one.
I'm gonna have to take my headphones out, and I can hold them out here and probably still hear
Lauren,
show.
Lauren, I'll move the mic here. How about that?
Okay,
Is that better?
you
Fantastic.
do you, boo. You get it off your chest. You deserve it.
Pile of garbage that quarterback is. Oh my God. And Chris said, is he the only one that thought Mariota looked really bad throwing the football? Check
He
your own
missed- he
quarterback
did
that
miss
you
quite a
root.
few throws.
Yeah,
He
check
did.
the quarterback you root for, and I think Mariota might
This
be
is a
better
guy who
option.
did not play with the ones at one point this week and still went out there, made some decent throws, got it done with his legs. I'm not worried about him at all.
Jared Goff.
This
Jared
week will be
Goff's played
huge
with-
because that Miami defense is no joke. So.
Yeah.
No joke.
Jared Goff's played with the ones all season and still can't
Oh
throw
yeah,
the
I mean,
football
fuck
well.
He's terrible.
Sorry, I don't say
Yeah.
that name. He
Yeah.
who must not be
Yeah,
named.
he who
Fuck
must
the
not
Dark
be
Lord.
named is what Ryan says. I just say his name. From our buddy Sean, he asked last week, but that was with Carr in, still in a mask again. Browns against the Jets or Dolphins against the Mariota-led Raiders. I'm still leaning Browns.
Oh, 100% Browns.
Yeah.
Yep, still leaning Browns. And also, I believe they stayed in New York because they play the Giants on Monday night. They're going to play the Jets in New York, so I believe they just stayed there. Again, they're not traveling.
It's a home game for the Browns now.
It's a home game for the Browns, baby. Let's go. Also, he's definitely
I'd go
playing-
Miami there, just so you know.
Listen,
I like
they're both
my
good
little tiny
options.
hair.
Yeah, I think they're
Little
both
tiny
good
hair.
options.
They're great options.
So
So take your pick, whichever one you want.
if it is a league that rewards sacks, the Browns. If it's a league that doesn't reward sacks, it's just normal points, and you need a bank on a touchdown, Dolphins. There's your answer.
point.
So he says he's playing Jalen Hurts over Ben Roethlisberger in the championship, and he asked that with a question mark. Yes, that is very correct, Sean. Good job.
Yes, that's what you do.
Yeah, that's a big unanimous yes. And he says Big Ben looking like doo-doo. God, Sean.
And Sean,
Sean, I invite you back anytime, my friend.
but Sean,
please.
immediately cut Big Ben right now and go sign a handcuff running back. Go steal something from somebody else.
Yes.
Word.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I was doing at about 5:30 this morning when Ryan's email popped through. I'm like, "Why are you awake?" And then I was like, "Shit, why am I awake?" All right, let's go sign some players.
Yeah. So our buddy Steely, resident Steelers fan, said he made it to the Super Bowl or made it to the bowl. 5-year keeper league. Congratulations. And he follows it up with pick up Tony Pollard or play Chris Carson, Antonio Gibson, Le'Veon Bell, Miles Sanders. He needs 2 in a standard.
Man, if Gibson's active, that is a nice
smash
matchup.
play Gibson.
That's a nice matchup. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't imagine they play Gibson though. So.
I'm gonna be honest. I rip on Miles Sanders all the time. This is a great matchup for Miles Sanders.
Yeah, it all comes down to I would pick up Tony Pollard if there's somebody you can cut to get him because you want him as your options.
Yeah.
If Zeke is out, you're going to play Pollard. And for me, it's Bell. I know Joe doesn't want to play Bell. If Zeke is active, it's Bell and Sanders. So.
I prefer Bell more in PPR than standard this week, personally.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, that's right.
Falcons, they've had a decent run defense, but they struggle on the pass catching side of things.
Yeah.
And that's where Bell's going to be used the most. Personally,
my biggest worry is that the Chiefs are going to boat race the Falcons. I want this to be a high scoring game because
there's no way. Matt Ryan outdoors freaking sucks.
Yeah, I know.
In the cold too? Yeah.
I know. In my league of record, 14-year league, I have Kelsey, Hill, and Patrick Mahomes in the championship. And I'm like, this is going to blow up in my face because Sammy Watkins is going to catch 2 touchdowns.
Wait till we get
week 1 and week 16 is Sammy Watkins weeks.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
16s.
That's why you draft Sammy Watkins as your third receiver, trade him.
Play him in DFS. Other than that, don't touch Sammy Watkins. Just
Yeah,
get that
never touch Sammy Watkins. Okay. From Sean, final question. He says he stashed Kittle on IR. If Kittle plays this week, does he go with him or does he roll with Hunter Henry, who's been hot with Justin Herbert?
I think I would stick with Henry. That QB play in San Francisco is just god awful right now. And
I would start Kittle. I would start Kittle because he's going to be
Budda Baker
against the only safety option that CJ Beathard's going to have.
Baker's the only one that's like,
and it's going to go to George Kittle. I'm worried about Brandon Ayuk, who's one of my favorite players for the 49ers. He's the one I'm most concerned with. But if Kittle starts, for me, that's a Kittle start in fantasy as well.
Budda Baker will be covering him.
Budda Baker's the only one that locks down.
Why would he cover George Kittle and not Brandon Ayuk?
Because Budda Baker's a safety.
Pat Pete will be covering Ayuk.
Pat Pete will be covering Ayuk, but the issue is Pat Pete isn't going to play press coverage on a rookie, and Ayuk's just going to run 2 yards behind the line of scrimmage and catch the football. I'm not worried about Ayuk at all. I am worried about Kittle.
Yeah, I mean, Alshon Jeffrey made Patrick Peterson look bad last week.
Yep.
So, just
and keep in mind, Pat Pete was playing closer to the line against Jeffrey.
I wish this answer could have helped Sean.
Yeah.
Roll with the hot hand.
Historically, when you look back at like George Kittle's worst
I have Hunter
game,
Henry in my matchup. So
when you look at George Kittle's worst games, they've come against the Cardinals and Budda Baker traditionally.
It's because
Budda
Budda Baker's
one of the best.
It's because Budda Baker's the best safety in the league. Not one of the best. He is the best safety in the league, bar none. You can't even throw out a comparison. He's the best safety in the league.
Yes, Dad.
Yes. Thank you. That's very weird. Considering I'm much younger than you. Okay. Next question. As we move on there.
Throwing Joe off his game.
Never been called daddy on a show. Maggie's listening, Lauren. Okay. I did
not say that.
I am
Dad, you weirdo.
I'm in a happily committed relationship,
All right,
Lauren.
let's just jump to downside or 3
I'm
down.
in a happily committed relationship, Lauren. God. I will not stand for this harassment. On to Victor. I'm glad I can make everyone laugh.
Man.
My goal is to make people cry laughing. Josh is easy. Josh is the easiest person to make laugh in the
I
world.
have tears. tears running
Yeah,
down
perfect.
my
I love it.
Oh,
I love
man.
it.
Good time.
I love it. John, good Lord. John, what else do you expect from me, John? What do you expect? What do you expect? You've been on the show 5 times at this point. What do you expect?
I'm sweating right now.
This is nothing new. This is nothing new. Welcome to the show, ladies and gentlemen. If this is your first time, keep tuning in because it's going to keep happening.
Chaos.
From Victor, Cole Beasley, Brandon Cooks, AJ Brown, Adam Thielen, pick 2 in a PPR to my wife, or my daughter, I guess, Lauren. Lauren, I'll start off with you, my
What a
daughter.
mess.
Please start it off. 40 minutes in, off the rails, ladies and gentlemen.
All right, this one's kind of a tough one because I do actually like all of these. So my first thing I'm going to say is just go with your gut on which ones you think you should start. If these were my team, I think that I would have to go with AJ Brown here. He's that big play potential. I think he has an incredibly high ceiling for you. Safety play may be a little bit more on the Cole Beasley side. That's going to depend on what happens with Stepmom Diggs.
Yeah.
Oh, they've already put him on IR.
Oh, he's already on IR?
Yeah.
Why did I miss this? Okay, well then, this is interesting.
I think it literally just happened today.
I was gonna
Okay.
say how I have him and am playing him, and I didn't know this.
He's
So
on IR, Ryan.
I have lineups
So-
to fix.
So I'll put in on the Beasley side of things. I said 2 weeks ago, if Jonathan Jones sees Cooper Kupp will score a touchdown on Jonathan Jones.
It's Antonio Brown, not AJ Brown.
Okay, there we go. So it's Antonio. Okay.
Changes
Ooh,
things.
against
So-
Detroit.
Yeah.
So I'll finish the Beasley thought quick. Kupp, the one time he was matched up on Jonathan Jones man to man, caught a touchdown. Cole Beasley to the moon. Sorry,
Beasley
Lauren, I
to
keep
the
sending people to the moon.
I
But
know.
Cole Beasley,
That started Saturday. And we have not let it go.
yeah.
Jeez, Dad.
Cole Beasley. This is going to keep going for eternity, and I think it's hilarious. Cole Beasley. I love. You really do have some great
I can't
matchups.
see the screen, by the way.
I
My
love
makeup
it.
is in my eyeballs.
I'm going to be honest. The worst matchup for all of them is Adam Thielen. The worst match for all of them is Adam Thielen.
The Saints have a very overrated secondary.
But again, Josh, looking at them, right? You have Beasley against the Pats with no Stephon Gilmore,
Yep.
Cooks against the Bengals, Antonio Brown against the Lions, and Thielen against the Saints.
My biggest issue with Antonio Brown is it seems to be a carousel with Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
Oh,
I would
One
go,
week
100%.
it's Evans,
just
one
to
week
answer the
it's
question,
Brown.
I would
like-
go Beasley and Cooks.
I would too. Beasley and Cooks.
Antonio Brown, it could easily be a Godwin or Mike Evans game. And Thielen, it's touchdown or bust. And could he score? Absolutely. You just can't guarantee it.
He's going to be the one that you're going to need to, again, reach for the booze and the Pepto when he blows up on your bench. Because if you play him, he'll get nothing. If you bench him, he'll blow up. But you're going to have some other options that you're going to be able to start anyway, because these are a solid wide receiving core that you have. So I do agree. Cole Beasley and Brandon Cooks for me.
Okay.
Oh, and let's throw John's comment up on there because I feel a lot
Yeah,
better
it
now.
says he sees. Yeah, I didn't see anything about Diggs on IR either, and it says it
Not
looks like he
Diggs.
pra-
No,
Okay, I
Stephon
didn't see that
Gilmore.
either.
You guys said
Oh.
Gilmore. You didn't say Diggs.
I said
She said Diggs.
Oh, I heard. I
Oh,
thought we were talking about Gilmore. No, Diggs. No, Diggs isn't on IR. No,
I
I thought it was
started
Gilmore.
Cole
That's why I was
Beasley.
like, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm
Gilmore.
still starting Cole Beasley. Let me be clear.
Yes.
Still like a good job.
Diggs or no Diggs, I'd be running out Beasley. So
Yeah.
yeah.
But I'm just saying, I think his ceiling is going to be a lot higher without Diggs there.
Oh,
You
absolutely.
know what? Maybe not. Maybe not.
I was gonna say his ceiling is helped by Diggs playing.
His ceiling actually may be helped by Diggs being there.
My
But yeah,
biggest worry would be if
Gilmore-
John Brown came back as well. I
That's-
don't know if that's
That's
happening.
another
So.
good point too. I don't think so.
Yeah, Brown tends to play
Yeah, on
well.
IR,
against
we
the
don't
Patriots.
know.
I don't know.
Now he is on IR and they have not activated him yet. So.
Perfect.
okay.
Then yeah. Either way, Cole Beasley's still going to be a good play, and I like Brandon Cooks as well.
Agreed.
I love that we're gonna finish up these questions and go right into smashing people that absolutely killed us last week as our
And I-
breakdowns.
Victor says sorry, Father.
Yeah, it's okay, Victor. Again, and John brings up, it's hilarious because I'm like 17. I'm 22, John. Please give me credit. Not even old enough to father a child. Technically, I could. Don't want to, but I technically could. You know, semantics. Buddy, Drumheller.
Mark,
Brandon
what's up?
Ayuk.
Mark.
Brandon Ayuk or Corey Davis says Green Bay definitely is worse, but Ayuk is more consistent. So I just said it, Mark. If you were still here when I said it, not worried about Ayuk at all. Pat Pete is not going to play press coverage, and it doesn't matter. Ayuk's going to run crossing routes underneath or behind the line of scrimmage. So
They've also
I
changed my
don't
mind.
think there's any way you can sit Ayuk right now. I don't care who's quarterback.
Too
One of
much
my
target share.
favorite pickups everywhere. I love Brandon Ayuk.
Yeah.
By the
Ayuk.
way, quick shout out to Mark. He's actually going to be on with us for our first show in February when we're previewing the Super Bowl.
Super Bowl.
And it's going to be all about prop bets
I
for
say,
the Super Bowl. It's
Mark
gonna
might
be
know a
fun.
little something about prop betting.
I'm excited. I'm excited. Get the over-under ready on the national anthem, Mark, because we're about to smash whatever it is that you like. All right. Another one from our ER nurse, Jalen Hurts or Deshaun Watson, and I think this is a very easy.
I don't think it's that easy against Cincinnati for Watson.
I still think it's Jalen Hurts.
It still hurts, but it's closer than
It is closer, but the dual threat ability.
both of them can run.
I was just gonna say, are you
But-
serious?
But Josh, who runs more?
Well, right now,
Watson isn't running.
Yeah.
Watson's
Oh,
not
wait.
in an offense where he runs. If Deshaun Watson was in Philadelphia's offense, all the
To the
way,
moon.
all the way to the
To the
moon.
fucking moon.
To the moon. But it's like he's not in
I feel
that
like we need
offense.
shirts made like to the moon.
He's in a Romeo Crennel run
That's what
offense.
we liked in our show notes. Moo.
The thing for me is, I can't see, and this is the worst jinx I can put on somebody. I can't see a bust game out of Hurts. Like, it's not even like
Bro, you've already made him the kiss
Why
of
did you
death
put
at
that out
stream
in
of
the
week,
atmosphere?
man. Like, come on, dude. Stop with this bullshit.
Oh, yeah,
Can't.
no,
Stop.
it's
Don't jinx my man.
It's Jalen Hurts. And yes, I understand Deshaun Watson is mobile. When a defensive coordinator is calling your plays, he's not mobile.
I will say with Watson, he's more likely to give you rushing touchdowns than like a ton of rushing yards.
Yeah.
Sure. That's I will agree with that. But also, the Cowboys may be running without Neville Gallimore. They're
He's their
really,
only legit run stuffer.
Yep. That's what I'm saying. They may be running without Neville Gallimore. So that's something to keep an eye on because that's even going to improve Miles Sanders' day. Where are we up to? Marty. Hello, Marty. Pick 2 in a super flex. Josh Allen, Kyler Murray, Tom Brady. To me, this one's easy, and it's Murray and Brady. Josh Allen struggles against the Patriots.
Yeah, but this is a different Josh Allen this year. I
Josh-
don't know. He's on a mission this year with, I don't know, man.
What game was it?
I
where
would be
Tyler
hard
Bass
pressed to
kicked
sit
400
Josh Allen in the
field goals?
finals.
What'd you say,
I remember
Lauren?
that, yeah.
One of the games where Josh Allen didn't score a single touchdown, didn't throw one, didn't run one in, and Tyler Bass scored all 18 points.
That
Was
was
that against the Patriots?
That was against the Jets. This game, so ready the game earlier this year at home against the Patriots. You want to know how many points Josh Allen put up? He put up 12. That's his worst performance of the year. You want to know the last time Josh?
The same Patriots team from earlier this year, Joe.
And the same Josh Allen.
Yeah, right.
He's turned things back around.
I'm just saying, historically, Allen is not good against the Patriots.
What's funny is it
Hi,
sounds
Mark.
like I'm disagreeing with you. I would bench Allen in this situation. The other two just feel safer.
There's nothing that feels safe to me about Tom Brady. Absolutely nothing. He has looked awful lately.
Marty, again, I'm the one that said bench Justin Herbert against the Patriots, so you may want to listen to me. That's all I'm saying. No one believe me. That's all I'm saying. You'll get a better performance out of Murray and Brady. Because you already got your rushing upside with Kyler Murray. I'm sorry. What did the Patriots do against Kyler Murray? Kept him in the pocket. What are they going to do against Josh Allen? Keep him
You're
in the
talking
pocket.
about two different mobilities with amongst the quarterbacks.
Josh, mobile quarterbacks. So Kyler Murray is the most mobile quarterback to get out of the pocket, and they kept him in the pocket. You think Josh Allen's getting out of there?
Okay, Josh Allen can see over offensive linemen. Kyler Murray can't.
And Josh Allen can run over defensive linemen. Kyle Murray can't.
Exactly. Again, you're talking about two
Have
very.
you seen him really pay attention to the way his legs move when he runs? He runs like a deer. Like it's up and down. It's so odd, but he manages to spring load forward like a jackrabbit. It is hilarious. That was just a side note.
Bench Josh.
If Gilmore was playing, I would lean more on your side. Gilmore's not playing. I'm not worried about Josh Allen one bit.
Diggs isn't on IR.
Yeah. I'm not worried about Josh Allen this week. And real quick, I want to shout out Marty. and the only reason I'm bringing this up is because he literally tweeted it. But his grandmother was going through COVID issues and just came out of the hospital, was just diagnosed with skin cancer. Marty, we're praying for you, brother.
Yeah,
and hope everything's so well with your grandma.
Yes. Moving on to Steely, Cole Beasley or A.J. Brown, Deshaun Watson or Josh Allen. Cole Beasley.
Wow. Talk about leaning into the recent debates.
Right?
Deshaun Watson.
If it's full PPR, it's the only way I would consider Beasley over A.J. Brown. If it's anything less, I'm going A.J. Brown.
Okay.
I'll agree on that one.
You could convince me either way on the receivers, so I'll just go A.J. Brown for the sake of agreeing here.
And Deshaun Watson statting out as my QB3, I would go
Watson, I think, is definitely the safer play.
Yeah.
Deshaun Watson from
That
Victor.
matchup is way too good.
Raiders or the Colts? I'm sorry, Dolphins against the Raiders or the Colts?
Oh, it's defense?
Defense.
Yeah, this is all you, Ryan. Come on, man.
Yeah, I'd go Miami.
Miami. The Colts actually haven't looked incredibly good on defense. They have given up some big plays and some plays here to there, and also Miami's better at turning the ball over and turning those.
I do want to throw out they both stat out terribly for me, and you're better off streaming. I'd go grab if. Last time I checked, they're about 53% rostered. Tampa Bay is my defense 1 on the week. I think they're going to kill Detroit. The Browns are out there in a few leagues. I wouldn't play the Patriots now that Gilmore's out, but there are quite a few teams out there I would play well over both of these teams.
Yeah. And from our buddy Lee, he says he doesn't want me to stop sending people to the moon because that's the only reason he's in the championship this week is because that's where I sent David Montgomery. So, Lee, I appreciate you, buddy. Always remember, listen to me, never listen to Josh because he told you Miles Sanders. So it's that simple.
He said he needed upside. I went upside.
Yes, and David Montgomery against a bottom 5 run defense is not upside. My bad. And last thing here before we get into our 3 downs, Dave, seeing advice as a Patriots fan, what does one do for the offseason? Now, Josh, as an avid Eagles fan and someone who has experienced a playoffless offseason for a long time now, what does one do?
What the hell are you talking about? How many times have we missed the playoffs in the last 20 years?
Play DFS. That's what you do.
Exactly. Another thing that you do too, keep your eyes on players that you want to try to remember for the 2021 season. For example, I have brought his name up several times now, but Brandon Ayuk is kind of one of those players that is going to fall in the draft, but you can get him at a really, really inexpensive draft capital price, if you will. So just keep an eye on these players. Watch these games through a different lens than freaking out over fantasy points. And just keep these notes, like have it set to Siri, like Siri, remind me next like August 1st or something. And like have that note ready to go so you can remember why you liked these guys. And then you can kind of see where they're going in ADP. That's what I really like to do if I'm not in the playoffs, which I'm not this year, which really sucks. So I actually get to watch football and not be stressed out the whole time, which is great because my husband's like freaking out over Nick Chubb. And I'm like, wow, that was a great play. I love football. It's just kind of nice. But yeah, that's what I like to do. And also DFS is a lot of fun too.
Dave, watch the Celtics and the Bruins because
we're helpful. You guys were just yelling at each other.
Yeah, well, Josh is
what we do every week.
Josh is an idiot. But as you
Mom
know,
and Dad,
just
we're fighting again.
Just in day-to-day life, Dave, go watch the Celtics after this show is over because they're playing right now. And get ready for hockey season because the Bruins are going to be on. There's your 2 best teams in Boston.
And Ryan O'Reilly's captain now. Yes.
Oh, congratulations. So the 2 best teams in Boston, go look at them. And then when baseball season comes around, pray that Xander Bogaerts hits 50 home runs and carries the team to 30 wins, maybe. Who knows? But yeah, watch the Celtics. They'll contend for a title this year.
Don't worry, Victor. I'm back. I just had to make a cocktail.
I'm loving this. This is an incredible joke that we now have on here. So, big fan. It's a good show today. I gotta say though, it took 40 minutes to get off the rails. Normally takes a lot less.
Sad.
Than that.
55, and
we're an hour in, and we're a quarter of a way through the show.
Yeah, literally, right?
I just went out and made a drink. My husband's like, "Oh, are you done already?" I'm like, "No, we barely started."
Yeah,
we got to answer the people. We got to answer the people's questions. We got to answer the people's questions. All right. So let's get into
We are
these.
here for the people.
Yeah,
We're here
exactly.
for you.
Let's get into these 3 downs here. Lauren, Devontae
God.
Adams, TJ Hawkinson, Keenan Allen. Obviously, Devontae had a down week, but TJ Hawkinson had an embarrassing week.
Oh, that was like what? What? No, it was. So this is what really sucks when you're a fantasy analyst and you really like to help people with fantasy advice, right? Because we look at the stats, we know the players, we understand the matchups, we can dive a little bit deeper than maybe the casual fantasy player. But when a player does what TJ Hawkinson did to you, it hurts you on a fundamentally visceral level.
Wow,
And you want to send somebody to the moon. Can we send him like down to Dante's 7th level inferno? I was so angry. Not because I started him, but because I said for other people to start him, which really hurt me you guys.
The SAT words that just came out of Lauren's mouth.
Thank you.
Wow.
It's like I get paid to write. It's weird.
Unbelievable. It's incredible. What did you get on your SATs?
Oh, I don't remember actually.
All right.
My ACT I think was a 34. And
That's pretty good.
Yeah, I think it was a 34. 34 or 36. 38's a perfect score, right?
Wow, she's like, yeah, I was close to perfect, you know.
I was close to perfect. I worked my butt off in high school. I went to a private Catholic all-girls school. There was nothing else to freaking do except study.
Nice. I was 30 points above average on the SATs, so I can.
I feel like we're going to get a lot of weird questions and comments in the chat.
Yeah, we
now.
didn't. So in Missouri, we didn't really use the SAT for our like applications for colleges. So for Mizzou, they really just wanted, which is where I went. They just wanted your ACT scores.
Yeah.
So I don't really remember what I did on the SATs, but my ACTs were good.
Look at that. Almost perfect Lauren Carpenter here, ladies and gentlemen, on the ACTs. Gotta love it. Ryan, your 3 downs: Aaron Rodgers, Juju Smith-Schuster, and Kenyon Drake. Oh, baby, can we take a bat to the body of Juju Smith-Schuster right now? Metaphorically, of course.
Oh, he took several during
Well,
that
I was
game.
going to say, Von Bell went ahead and did that non-metaphorically.
Oh, why?
So my very first quote was, "You see where all that dancing gets you?" But then he came out today and said he's not doing it anymore for his own well-being.
Probably
Did he really say that?
Yeah, he said for his own well-being and the benefit of the team.
Yep.
Well, because Mike Tomlin was in an interview too, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm going to talk to
You're gonna
Juju
talk
about
about
that,
it."
like dancing on the, the other team's logo."
But every game, but 3 catches for 15 yards, and then of course you're on the wrong side of a highlight reel.
He got
And a
lit
fumble.
up.
And a fumble.
Yep. There's the main thing I put is there is 0 chance he's in Pittsburgh next season. So Deontay Johnson to the moon.
To the moon, baby.
But even to a lesser extent, you're going to see James Washington more involved now. Chase Claypool's obviously going to be big on the outside. That's going to be a very different team next year. But my biggest worry is it a team that Ben Roethlisberger can lead? And that's going to be a really interesting dynamic with that team next season.
I'm interested to see what kind of moves they make in the offseason. I'm very, very interested to see what the Steelers decide to do. I've actually been very impressed with James Washington too. So I'm curious to see how he starts to evolve a little bit more into that offense.
Love it. Josh, you have Jerry Jeudy, the Rams, and Cole Kmet. I want to say the Rams, but that's my job, so I don't want to give you any. Don't want to give you anything. Pick your poison from the 2 rookies: Jerry Jeudy out of Bama or Cole Kmet out of Notre Dame.
Everybody's like all aboard the Kmet hype train, and let's be real, rookie tight ends, give them a year. Just give them a year.
Yeah, the hype train that went around Cole Kmet went in one ear and like
right out the other.
Shot right out the other one, and I was like, "What was that?" Oh, it's the
Yeah.
hype train on Cole Kmet. No,
It's almost like the hype train for Notre Dame every year.
And yet they still somehow made the college football playoff after getting
because it's
Joke.
Notre Dame.
by Clemson. Like, come on.
Joke. Absolute joke
It's them
that they
Catholics.
made it.
The one
Absolute
thing I would
joke.
watch with Cole Kmet, and I know everybody, he hasn't done it on the field perfectly yet, 100% snap count last week. And when you're on the field, you're a chance to score a touchdown, and that's all it takes in the fantasy tight end world right now.
I agree.
Speaking of what to do if you're not in the playoffs, which was kind of the question we had earlier, keep an eye on Cole Kmet because he may be a sneaky pickup next year. I mean, we're going to start seeing some things happen towards the end of these games as this is when teams start getting really serious and how they want to use these players. And like Josh brought up, rookie tight ends generally do not tend to just burst off of the paper in their first year. It takes a little bit of time, and he's already done a little bit better than I think we've given him credit for. But for this year, I'm not all about that Cole Kmet, but he's interesting to keep an eye on for next year.
Yeah, most definitely. All right. Moment everyone's been waiting for. My 3 downs.
Oh, here we go.
I'll start with the third guy, put Miles Sanders. I just say it's painful because he really is good. Like I give Josh a bunch of shit whenever he says start Miles Sanders, but the guy, he's really good when he has the ball in his hands. And it's just, they need to give him more opportunities, and they also need to give him an offensive line because that line cannot block. So Miles Sanders, just because I think he should be better than he is on paper. All right. Been saying it since week 5. The Pittsburgh Steelers are the biggest joke of an NFL franchise in 2020, and it's not even close. It is not even close. 11-0.
It's like, all right, I'm sitting back for this one.
I mean, I can't even say what I wrote in the show sheets because there's so many expletives.
Please.
So many expletives.
I totally will.
But based on your other pick, how could the Steelers be the biggest joke? Because
right?
Someone else.
Oh no, don't worry, I'm getting there. But let's focus on the Steelers. Let's focus on the Steelers. I've heard people say, "Oh, well, they don't choose their schedule." Okay, they didn't choose their schedule. They lost the last 3 against 2 very well. The Washington football team has shown that they've been better, but the Bengals, really 17-0 at halftime. That's what we're doing now. Okay, for everyone that keeps defending Mike Tomlin, we still gonna do that? We're still gonna defend Mike Tomlin? Not a good coach at all. I have said this multiple times. Lauren, I see you on mute. Do you want to defend Mike Tomlin?
No, I'm just really want to point out that you sound a lot like a dad giving a lecture right now.
Welcome. I've been told I sound like my father, so it makes.
But please continue because we left off with: are we going to defend Mike Tomlin?
Are we gonna do that? Are we gonna
continue? Because I'm loving
because I said, and people had said that's not accurate. Mike Tomlin got Bill Cowher's sloppy seconds for a 2010 Super Bowl win against the Cardinals. On a catch that shouldn't have counted because Antonio Holmes only had 1 foot down in the end zone. That's neither here nor there. He lost to the Packers in the Super Bowl, hasn't been back since, has had pretty good teams in that time. Yes, he's made the playoffs, but it's the same thing we keep saying with Sean Payton. Sean Payton has great teams. What's he done with them? Yes, he makes the playoffs. So? Sean Payton, you have an all-time quarterback in Drew Brees. Tomlin, you have an all-time quarterback in Ben Roethlisberger. What are you doing with them? Like, they're not doing anything with him. Mike Tomlin is not a good head coach. Sean Payton's in that same damn conversation, but this isn't about the Saints. This is about the biggest. We talked about the Bears being a fraud 5-1 team, the Titans being a fraud 5-1 team, which they have turned around. But the Bears are the biggest one that we said, there's no way this team should be 5-1. There's no way that the Steelers should be 11-3 right now. There's no way they should have been 11-0 to begin with. The team is a joke.
This week against the Colts too.
Yeah. Oh, and I cannot wait to tell you my upsides because guess who they're all playing against? The Pittsburgh Steelers. Every single one of them, minus the tight end because I had to go someone different. But okay.
I'm going to throw out some defense because I just think your take is complete trash on Mike Tomlin.
Okay.
Made it to the Super Bowl 4 years after taking over the team. That's not sloppy seconds.
That's roster churn.
Never finished below 500 in his entire coaching career. Never once.
And he had all the opportunity last year to finish below 500.
144 and 77, and that's a season of 8-8 with Mason Rudolph and Duck Hodgins or whatever the hell his name is. So I completely agree. They are a fraud-ass team this year, and I think Roethlisberger is more of the problem than the solution.
Yeah, he's washed.
The reason they're not running the ball well is because nobody has to respect what Roethlisberger's doing. But Tomlin is not the issue there. They need player churn. It might be he's too loyal to his damn players, and that's one of the things you've always respected the hell out of the Patriots is they're ready to cut bait the moment they don't see the value in a player anymore.
I mean,
well, and I think part of go ahead, Lauren. Sorry.
Oh no! That was just saying that the cutting bait on players. I mean, they had defensive studs that was just like, we think that you may not be good this year, so we're cutting you. It's like, what?
It's weird you say that. We signed Cam Newton, so it's strange. That we signed a bad.
To be fair, that signing
I like Mike Tomlin too, so I tend to agree with that.
And desperation.
That's what that signing was.
Josh, it was.
I think Joe
risk,
really
no
needed
reward.
to get this off of his chest. I think that was really the whole purpose of this.
Yeah,
so
Chandler Jones
I don't know how much of it was really about Mike Tomlin. I think it was just airing of the grievances.
It's mostly about the Steelers, but I do think Mike Tomlin is overrated. Because
I like him.
When push comes to shove in a big game, Mike Tomlin's not the coach that's going to win.
Have you seen a list of his Mike Tomlin-isms?
How many?
I need an entire wall to fill up how many I love.
How many NFL coaches have actually stepped on the field to help their team win a game?
Bill
Mike
Belichick.
Fucking Tom.
No, literally stepped
on. Literally stepped on the
field.
Yeah.
I will say this one thing though. I think Tomlin has a hard time.
I totally forgot about that.
he has a hard time getting through to some of these younger players with this
that's another
whole,
good point.
social media thing too. That
Juju
is now very
Smith-Schuster is
prevalent.
the veteran in that wide receiver,
and he's like
core.
12.
And he's doing TikTok videos
here's the
on
thing.
the other team's logos.
It's a perfect
That's
point.
hard to deal with.
He has no control over his players.
And it was the same
That's
thing
what I
with
can't
AP, and it was the same thing with Le'Veon Bell. He let
That's
them do what they did because they had the talent at the end of the day.
That's what I can't respect about him is
So
he
here's
has
my
zero
prediction.
control over his players.
Bell's back with the team next year. Bell is the leadership that they needed after being away from the team for so long, and they turned it around completely.
Le'Veon Bell's
There's
the
not much to
leadership?
turn around.
Oh, wow.
Absolutely.
Wait,
Bell
so
is not the same
you have
player he
Le'Veon
was
Bell
when he
going
left.
back to
Bell's
Steelers?
definitely-
To the
I think
Steelers?
Bell was humbled by going and playing.
That's
with the
interesting because I had I don't want to call it a premonition, but I kind of, when you daydream and you just kind of think about random crap. And I was like, wouldn't it be crazy if Le'Veon Bell went back to the Steelers? They have no run game. They need him back. And it was like, that would be super cool. So the fact that you bring it up and it has a potential. You're absolutely right. That would be epic.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be so fun to watch.
Also,
How cool would that be?
John says Juju is older than me, and he is actually by 2 years. So he is older than me. Okay, and then the last thing. He who shall not be named, Ryan.
That's right, the Dark Lord.
Oh, wow. So here's the thing, because we got questions. Jared Goff or player X? Jared Goff or player Y?
No, never Jared Goff.
But
no.
Lauren, here's the thing. I had said, you can play Jared Goff. Just know he's going to turn the ball over. Yep. And these guys were like, it's the Jets. I'm like, yeah, Jared Goff's going to turn the ball over.
I did say there was a big gap, and I think Ryan did too. It could be all or nothing.
Yep.
We did say that.
When it's Sean McVay, who is, the offensive genius and, whatever, he's
You want to talk about overrated?
I wasn't bringing that up at all, but if you need to discuss it, go ahead. I'm just saying where I was going with that was he normally isn't the kind of coach that picks out a player and picks on them to, deflect criticism or anything. That's just not how Sean McVay has ever worked. And when he comes out in a press conference and literally just says Jared Goff has to play better.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a big problem. It's a big.
Yeah. What really hurt them was losing Cam Akers. That was their entire game plan. It was feed Cam Akers. When Akers went down,
that was their game plan for 2 weeks. And
that's what I'm saying.
This was going to happen with that running back.
Yeah. So Jared Goff just slept through all the meetings. He's like, oh, I don't have to do anything. Just hand the ball off. All right, cool. We got this.
Problem. Red flag.
They definitely overlooked
That's
the
me
Jets.
waving a red flag.
Yes, they definitely overlooked the Jets, and we're looking more towards their division matchup. If you're going to lose a game, let it be out of conference.
Correct.
That's what everyone says. If you're going to lose 4 games a year, those 4 games better be in the opposite conference because those they barely affect you in the standings. Still,
you don't lose to the Jets.
The Jets, like a team actively trying to tank.
Yep.
Actively.
I
don't care what anyone says. That's like, what? It's just absurd. And Sean was.
I was wondering if you were going to bring this up.
His defense to Joe's semi-obnoxious Steelers rant. Sean, dude, they're bad. I'm sorry. 3 games in 12 days. I don't care. Let's see what any other team is doing with that unfortunate schedule. Also, Randy.
They're offensive coordinators.
Listen, Sean, yes, I understand. 3 games in 12 days sucks.
There's actually
The
one thing you did bring
Bengals.
up, Joe, and that I'll take the shot at, the OC, but Tomlin as well. The Steelers have never developed a quarterback. This is something I've brought up for a long time. Yeah. They lucked into a very pro-ready quarterback with Ben Roethlisberger, and he actually came in the Cowher regime. Under Tomlin, they've never had a backup quarterback poached. They've never had a backup quarterback step in and play well. It's been complete trash. So.
Yeah, and Big Ben has never been like that healthy of a quarterback. He's always missed games. Like they would bring in like Charlie Batch, like old and washed up Charlie Batch to fill in because they couldn't develop a young guy.
And that's what they're going to end up doing again because
they're going to have to bring in someone.
They're not going to play poorly enough to get somebody.
Yep.
So I just, if we have a second, I mean, Joe, you just brought up that it was the Bengals. Like they have been sneaky good in the last 4 weeks. So they're ranked fourth best defenses against quarterbacks in the last 4 weeks. Just
the Bengals.
The Bengals.
I don't care. They're the Bengals.
Well, I'll give you. Okay, I thought you were.
I don't care.
So they have allowed only one. Let me just make sure what this is. They have one interception. No, I'm sorry. Yes, one interception is only 4 touchdowns. So they have allowed 1 touchdown basically in the last 4 weeks. They're under 900 yards. I mean, they're literally. I'm looking at NFL fantasy points against right now, and they are ranked fifth in the last 5 weeks and 4th in the last 2 weeks. Just throwing that out there. Food for thought.
The Bengals.
The more you know.
It's the Bengals. There's no excuse for losing to a division rival that is
the division rivalry is really that like cherry on the top because one of my best friends here is a Steelers fan and he has been the most unhappy person in the last few weeks.
Yeah, he looked a little down last week when we were up there.
This is no friggin' exception. Oh my gosh, Josh, you should have seen him on Monday. It was bad. It was so bad he was laughing, like cackly, maniacally laughing, not like I'm actually amused. Like, no. It was
he snapped.
He might hurt someone. Like, right. Okay? Oh, it's funny. Continue.
So, and a lot of people on the Steelers that I've heard, they point to the loss of Devin Bush, which I'll give you. That's losing your middle linebacker, always a big loss.
And then Bud Dupree on top.
And then they talk about they bring up Bud Dupree. You still have the best edge rusher in the league in T.J. Watt. You still have one of the best young safeties in the league in Minkah Fitzpatrick. Like your defense doesn't suck. They're just playing.
The NFL in sacks.
Yeah, exactly.
I love like the revenge of the Watt brother after Derek went down. TJ was like, give me the smelling salts. Yeah. And he's like getting ready to go and like kill people. I was like, yeah, where's the popcorn?
TJ's a freak.
Yeah.
But I just and
thank you very much, David Ibrahim, for your very nice comments. Continue, Joe. I'm sorry to be interrupted.
I've said this entire year that I think Pittsburgh's secondary is overrated outside of Minkah, and I've gotten backlash on that as well. I'm like, the thing saving them is T.J. Watt. That's the thing saving that defense.
And then when you lose your the linebacker and your edge rushing linebacker, people can just focus on Watt. And no matter how good you are, a double and triple team are going to kill you unless you're Aaron Donald. So.
And he's still finding a way to get it done too, which I think is incredibly impressive. But he's a lot of keeping.
He's getting it done, but he's not getting it done every play like he was the first 4 to 6 weeks of the season. So
right,
correct, yeah. And Pittsburgh's a first round out. The division is up in the air for them now. They lose.
Cleveland's going to win that division. That momentum has swung like crazy.
Isn't that crazy?
Like Pittsburgh has to lose the next. They just have to lose one of their next 2, and if Cleveland wins out.
Well, they play Cleveland next week.
I know that's my point.
Yeah,
if Pittsburgh, because I don't know what the tiebreaker is. I believe Pittsburgh beat them earlier in the year. So
then it'll
they
be
beat them earlier in the
year.
Don't
the Ravens have the tiebreaker?
No, the Ravens have 5 losses.
Anyway,
the Ravens have 5 losses.
Yeah, I mean, if
next time
if the Colts beat the Steelers,
when it comes to this playoff, yes, like
they're both 11
I check out. Like I check out. I'm like, nope. This is why I do fantasy. I don't do real football.
What I want to know is
it's like,
what's the second tiebreaker? Isn't it division point or division record?
I believe
conference record.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's weird. It does go to it goes to
it's like head-to-head division record, conference record. I believe.
I literally feel like I got dumber just listening to you guys talk. Like I don't know what you're saying. It's like no, this is
pity our audience every week.
Turning regular metal into gold is what you're talking about right now. It's alchemy. It's magic.
Oh, common opponents. There you go, John.
Okay.
So we're not going to try and figure it out, but regardless, the Steelers, if they lose the next two, obviously one of them being against the Browns, and the Browns win out.
And the Browns have the Jets this week.
The Browns have the Jets. The Cleveland Browns will win the AFC North. If that's not the most 2020 thing, the Browns.
It is 2020. By the way, guess who just came over, Josh? It's Matt.
Oh, R.I.P.
The Steelers guy.
I was like, oh, I hear Jackson in the background. Okay.
Yeah, sorry about the dogs barking, guys. Our friend just came over.
You can tell Matt to tune in because I'm done with the Steelers rant. I'm sure. Don't worry. Listen, I'm sure next week they're gonna lose again. I'll be right back at it.
I will videotape some of the reactions and send them to you because Josh has seen it firsthand. It gets hilarious. I mean, I do totally relish in his misery. I'm sorry, I'm a bad person, whatever, but it is really funny.
I wouldn't be taking such a giant victory lap if I was not calling this since week 5.
Yeah.
I have been saying
more
this.
than privileged enough to say this, Dad. Go for it.
Thank you.
Lecture on.
Thank you. I have been saying this almost the entire season, and that's why me, Josh, and Ryan have taken long victory laps on the Washington football team's defense because we've been screaming that since the offseason. So, that's why we're taking... So this is... I would not be... Oh, Lauren, you fucked up.
Every time, I am so dumb when it comes
You screwed
to that.
up.
I even know it's opposite, and I'm like, which way is
Oh,
it?
Lauren, I host the show, and I still mess it up. I'm on every week, and I still mess it up. Don't worry.
I'm so sorry. There we go.
All right. Let's fly through these upside downside stream of the weeks, blurred lines picks. Because we're gonna actually, we do have one more question before we fly through these from Jake 1079. Half PPR
Sup, Jake?
needs a flex. Galladay, if he plays, Galladay's not playing. You can rule him out. T. Higgins, Jamison Crowder, or TikTok star Juju Smith-Schuster.
Higgins all day.
Yeah,
T.
I'm
Higgins.
gonna say Higgins on this.
Nobody on Houston's covering T.
Tyler
Higgins.
Boyd is my boy.
Concussion protocol, though.
Yeah, T.
I know.
Higgins.
I know. I'm just saying. I didn't say to start Tyler Boyd. I said Tyler Boyd's my boy.
You did. That's exactly what you said.
Yeah,
Although-
if it was full PPR, I'd lean Crowder.
Crowder.
But give me Higgins.
Although
Ryan's
Juju
picking
isn't
on me,
dancing.
Dad.
Juju's
Round
not
him.
dancing on the logo this week, so
No. So he's focused.
he may be able to save
Kenny
that
Moore is
energy.
gonna lock him up. So
Yeah, may be able to save that energy. All right, let's
T.
fly.
Higgins has a really nice high ceiling for you too. So
Yeah.
Higgins there.
Let's fly through all these upside downside stream of the week, blur lines picks. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Lauren, Robbie, if you're still listening, you were 2-2 last week on the upsides. Lauren, you have Tom Brady against the Lions, David Montgomery against the Jacksonville Jaguars.
To the
Greg-
moon.
To the moon, baby. David Montgomery to the moon. Greg Ward against the Dallas Cowboys, and Tyler Higbee against the Seattle Seahawks.
I don't really like that Higbee take. I'm not going to lie. I do not like any of the tight ends this week. I was going through them, trying to look at numbers that I obviously don't want to do the obvious, like Travis Kelce, like duh.
Yeah.
But I was trying to think of something, and I don't like any of it. I don't like the matchups. Nothing really jumped out and screamed like yay. So that Tyler Higbee is like an asterisk by it that I don't love.
He already had his one good game to end the season,
and that's what I'm afraid of exactly. And I just
sort
think
of
there
like
was
when
no
she
one
was on
else.
It was sort of like when you were on the show last time. I picked Ian Thomas. So
And you
stay
picked Ian
far
Thomas.
away
But
from
you know what?
Higbee.
4 targets, 40 yards, like whatever. I'm just saying, I did not like these tight ends this time. I just, nothing really poked out. So I was like, all right, Tyler Higbee. He works.
There you go. I was the same way looking at tight ends. Ryan, you have Jalen Hurts, who's also your stream of the week.
Yep.
J.D. McKissick against the Panthers. Marquise Brown against the Giants.
Gets the nickname back this week, baby.
That was a triple take. And Austin Hooper against the New York Jets, who we already talked about. Ryan, he's also your stream of the week.
Yep.
Josh, you were...
I bet you David Njoku gets all the touchdowns for Austin Hooper.
Oh, probably. Josh.
Should we water bet?
Oh, I'll water bet you.
We should water bet.
I'll give you Bryant and Njoku added together on Hooper.
Perfect. I'll take it.
All right.
Wow. Okay. I love that. I love that.
I like
idea.
it.
All right.
Jeff, get the water ready.
Yeah.
I pay out my water bets, okay? I paid out my water
I
bets.
never said you didn't.
Are we going?
They're fun.
We're on Club Fantasy. Are we going full PPR or are we going Ballers half PPR?
I'll go full. Half PPR.
Let's go full. Let's make it. Yeah, let's go full.
That evens things up for me if I lose a touchdown. So I like that. So yeah, let's go full PPR.
There you go.
Let's do it.
All right, Josh, you laid another goose egg last week. You love the goose eggs in the upside column.
And the sad part is when I write my start sit column, I'm above 500 on those. So
yeah, the only one with over 40 losses in the upside column this year. Josh, you have Baker Mayfield. It's the goddamn Jets.
Welcome to my TED Talk.
Yep. Le'Veon Bell, Sammy Watkins for his patented Week 16 performance. And Jordan
One
Akins.
Week 16, man, bookends. That's
Yep. And Jordan Akins. Myself, I was
Here's the thing with Watkins, really quick. He hasn't had a 100-yard game yet this season. He's due.
that normally happens at week 1.
He only had 87. He had 2 touchdowns, I believe, in week 1, but he hasn't had 100 yards yet.
Didn't you have 3 touchdowns? 2018, 2019.
Last year.
Yeah, last year, 2008, 3 touchdowns. Freaking week 1.
Yep.
Stupid.
Yep. All right. Myself, I told you. All of them are playing Pittsburgh. Phillip Rivers. We all talked about how we didn't like Jonathan Taylor's Week 16 matchup. Jonathan
Looks
Taylor
better now.
to the moon.
Yeah.
To the moon! Yes!
Michael Pittman.
And
just to shake it up on you guys, Dan Arnold against the 49ers. Dan Arnold has been
I don't hate that, Joe.
I don't either.
hate that.
a favorite target of Kyler Murray lately. Kyler's come out and said he likes
They've been
throwing
splitting
the
him
ball.
out, running him as more as a wide receiver, which he's
So
actually eligible.
He's got great
as a wide
hands.
receiver, yeah.
A fellow
hands, great
fantasy
route running.
footballer, a colleague of mine over here, we've known about Dan Arnold pre-season.
The mailman. He always
Mailman.
delivers.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so Dan Arnold, I like. All right, to the downsides. Robbie was 1-2
they
and
all
1
the
last
Steelers?
week. Me? No, they are not all the Steelers. I figured that would be
No, because he knows better than to put Deontay Johnson on that list.
yeah. Well,
love
Lauren, that'd be cheating. That's like putting Travis Kelce as your upside. You
I
just
know,
know
right?
Pittsburgh. You just know Pittsburgh's going to be bad. Lauren, you have Derek Carr against Miami, or Mariota. So
Plays.
the
Yeah.
Raiders quarterback
But I
against
don't
Miami.
hate Mariota if he plays. But if Derek Carr plays, I don't like him.
There you go. DeAndre Swift against the Bucks.
I know
The
it's a matchup.
tandem of Woods and Cooper Kupp against the Seattle Seahawks. You put Dan Arnold against the 49ers.
Mm-hmm.
You just said you liked.
Yes, it was the wrong one. No, it was the wrong one. There was somebody else that I actually wanted to put in there. I just didn't change my notes, and I don't remember who it was. I put the Dan Arnold one was actually going to be a tight end that I looked at, but I kept it as Tyler Higbee, and I put it down into the wrong section. So delete that out of your minds. I can't remember who it was that I was starting.
We'll give you a tie unless you figure it out and you can text me later.
I'll text you later, whatever. But no, it's actually kind of funny because I was like, wait a minute. I thought I changed that because I just went back to the notes and I was like, that says on the downside. Why do I have Dan Arnold there? He's supposed to go. Okay, it's fine. Don't worry about it. But yeah, real quick caveat here. I do want to talk about the Seattle Seahawks, LA Rams game. Okay, they play each other very, very hard.
Yes.
This is a divisional rivalry. I, as a former Rams fan, when they were in St. Louis, before they divorced me and went back to their second wife, who got rich and fake boobs. Fine, I'm not bitter. It's always been a very, very awesome matchup to watch. Things haven't changed since they've gone to LA. The last time that they played, this was a very devastating matchup. So I do not like a lot of these wide receivers for the Seattle Seahawks, and I don't like them for the Rams. And this is the shittiest week possible, week 16, to have these studs be on the downside. You may have to start some of these guys if there's no better options. Temper your expectations, and you may have to slide in some guys in your flex or other spots that are home run hits that may be bust potential. Just understand that may happen. So keep your eye on this matchup and understand that you may be playing from behind after this game.
I'll throw you this one caveat with Russell Wilson. He struggles against the Rams in LA. In Seattle, his last 3 games, he has 8 touchdown passes.
He torches them in Seattle.
Yeah, he torches
Russell,
them in
Mr.
Seattle.
Unlimited, has been real limited. So I'm not really quite sure what to think of that whole hot mess.
The one thing I'll throw out is the 4 big wide receivers combined for 34 points in week 10 when they played each other.
Yeah.
That's not bad. They scare me.
No, I look at that as terrible because these
Yeah.
are guys that you want 10 plus out of at minimum.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
Yeah.
Lauren, don't think of it as all bad because if you were still a Rams fan, you'd be rooting for Jared Goff. So just think of it that way.
Oh
you know?
no, that's like I went through this process, like the grieving stage where I was like bitter and then blaming, and then I went through that whole thing. I'm still bitter, and I'm never going to get over that. I'm a woman. What do you want? I mean, that's how I roll. But I have a new team now. I am a Saints fan, so I'm very happy. I will definitely take
Wow.
these.
Wow, so you go from one team of disappointment to another team of disappointment.
I go to another team of the most amazing city in the world, which is New Orleans, Louisiana, and I friggin' love it there. Plus, New Orleans has a very rich history with St. Louis. They're like kind of sister cities in a way. So it all ties very well together. It's kind of a natural progression to
It's
go.
almost like there's a river connecting them.
It's weird, right? Like they could have
Almost.
traveled up said river, right? It's very, very large. I also could be an Arizona Cardinals fan, considering the Cardinals used to be in St. Louis. But again, you're not in my friggin' city, nor are you connected to my city anymore. So I'm a Saints fan.
Go Saints. All right.
Get it.
Ryan, you were 3-0-1 last week. You got Matt Stafford against the Bucks, Wayne Gallman against Baltimore, DK Metcalf against the Rams. God, you guys are listing all the guys I have on my championship roster. This is painful. And Jonnu Smith against the Green Bay Packers. Josh, 2-2 last week. You have Phillip Rivers. Now, that's just wrong. I'm not even going to allow you to elaborate on that. Plays Pittsburgh.
I'm aware of that. I'm aware of that.
Yeah, you
Yes,
aware?
Robbie, they're cousins.
The Colts can still beat them and play well, and Rivers can be outside the top 15 at quarterback.
Ryan,
This is on principle, Josh. This is not on logic.
No, I know.
It's
Well,
so-
sorry that I work on logic.
right.
This is a guessing game. No logic involved.
Ryan Finley had as many fantasy points as Aaron Rodgers this week.
Yeah,
Because he was smiling all the time.
that's right.
Yeah.
Really?
Also,
Bonus points, doesn't it?
shout out Ben Roethlisberger had the least amount of fantasy points of a starting quarterback this week, not including Derek Carr, who got hurt. Yes, C.J. Beathard, who came in the fourth quarter, had 3.3 more points than him. So shout out Big Ben. Josh, continuing with your downsides, it's just too easy to rip on this team. It's too easy. Also, I'm a Patriots fan, required to hate the Steelers. You have James Robinson as well, of course, obviously if he plays. If he doesn't play, he's a huge downside. Don't put James Robinson in your lineup if he doesn't play.
Most recent report I saw today was that he will not
Is he on
practice,
injured reserve too?
but they are confident he will play.
Yeah. Tim Patrick against the Chargers and Irv Smith in New Orleans. Myself, I was 3-0-1 last week. I have Josh Allen in New England, Josh Jacobs against the Dolphins, DJ Chark against the Bears, and Logan Thomas against the Panthers if Dwayne Haskins plays. I'm sorry, if
I
Dwayne
noticed
Haskins
that
doesn't play.
I noticed my Saints boy, Lil Jordan Humphrey, was not on any of our upside lists.
No,
Because Lil Jordan Humphrey had like a good game at Texas.
well, he may be lining up as the wide receiver too this week.
They don't have any wide receivers except for Emmanuel Sanders. Michael Thomas is out. Traquan Smith missed practice
Yeah,
on
it's
Tuesday.
looking
I'm not
like
sure
he's
if he
out.
missed again today. He may be out too. So it's going to be Emmanuel Sanders, Lil Jordan Humphrey,
I say that
Juwan
Marquez-
Johnson, and
'cause that
Tommy Lewis.
I was going to say because Marquez Callaway is still on IR, right? So
Yes. So those are going to be the wide receivers for the Saints. So you never know. Lil Jordan could be a thing.
So you're
DFS
telling me
may only don't pick him up.
you're telling me plug Lil Jordan Humphrey into my DFS lineup, put him as
At
my
least one of
captain,
them.
Dude.
Why not?
I was gonna say he's probably
Home
only
run.
3,000. So
put him as my Christmas Day captain.
Well, you saw all the lineups that hit on Thursday for some reason had Mariota in them. And I'm like, who the fuck is building DFS lineups with
And that's
Marcus
what
Mariota?
so angry. It makes me so mad because these people and I don't hate it. I'm jealous because I don't have dollar bills, y'all, to be doing this. But there's like $5,000 to $10,000 a tournament that you can literally plug in an algorithm and create as many lineups as humanly possible to submit. And if one of them hits, you just
make
won
your money
10
back.
grand and you only spent 2. You know, that's really what us little lay people, our peons, are going up against when we do these tournaments. So just have that in your head. Like these guys have lineups of like second, third, fourth string dudes that will never hit, or they're going to score a touchdown or two. And it's ridiculous.
If you hit a couple $100 on a $5 buy-in, you did great.
That's amazing. If you make like $50 off of a $5 buy-in, you're good.
I made 30 cents off a 10-cent buy-in. So
There you go.
Did it. You tripled your money.
who's really paying back their student loans now? Oh,
This guy.
30 cents. Right to the government. All right.
Great directional point there, Lauren.
I got it right.
Lauren's got it down now. All right, Ryan, we already talked about
because I'm
Hurts.
drinking now. I just need to be drinking all the time. I have way more sense of direction.
I know we're deep in, so I'll just throw the 3 names out, but there's one caveat I want to throw out. Their rostership percentages are literally going up by the minute. So by the time my article hits, these guys are going to probably be 70% rostered. So try to get them now. But Jalen Hurts versus Dallas is going to be a great play. Austin Hooper versus the Jets. And as I mentioned earlier, I think Tampa Bay is going to eat Detroit alive. DeAndre Swift is their best player, and Tampa Bay can stop the run. They're averaging, I think, fewer than 60 rushing yards per game allowed. And they only have one wide receiver. Galladay's not coming back. They'll be able to slow down Marvin Jones. Hockenson is the only worry there, and he's not going to score enough points to make Tampa Bay a bad play on defense.
Swift is going to beat him through the air. The Bucs allow the most.
It's literally,
I do know that.
The only points that Detroit is going to score is if Adrian Peterson falls over into the end zone.
AP.
But no, the biggest thing is my article will drop Friday. The graphic will drop Friday, though I may just drop the graphic tomorrow with their game being Friday. These guys, I noticed the rostership percentages went up 10% from when I was writing the article at 5:30 in the morning until right now when I was looking.
Y'all are crazy.
No, Ryan's crazy.
No,
I was up at 8:30
I
this
literally
morning.
I just had gone to like bed at 5:30. Like my husband and I stayed up way too late watching The Boys on Amazon Prime.
I just found out his Dark Materials has a whole second season I didn't know about on HBO, so I have to like catch up on that. So
yeah,
great show.
It's time disappeared. I'm like, oh my God, it's really late.
That'll probably be me and my wife tonight because she's off work tomorrow. So
Yeah.
woo, Christmas Eve.
I love I'm sorry. I love the holiday season because
do too.
Okay, tomorrow is what day is it tomorrow? Thursday. Yes.
Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
It is Christmas Eve tomorrow, y'all, and like people have off work and they get to spend time with their families. They get to spend time
I'll be working.
People who matter, Josh.
Thanks, Brian.
people.
I'll be
Whatever.
I'll be on a
But
flight
I'm just
home.
at Christmas time. I don't know if you but hey, you're working. At least you get to bring home a paycheck. There's that too. It's been such a crazy, awful year with so many things going on. And to have that joy of Christmas still. And if you have kids, that's what makes Christmas so amazing. It's just like the magic and everything that goes into it. Don't ever forget that. Like
Unless your kid
fantasy
wants a PS5.
aside. True. That's
and then you're fucked.
Ask Santa.
Yeah.
and then you're waking up at 5 a.m. trying to go to Target's website to see if they did a drop.
I get it.
Yeah.
Enjoy this time with your family and friends or whatever it is that you're doing, because it's the middle of the week and people have days off coming up. It's fun.
Cool.
I love that. Like, get it. Let's have some fun.
So Ryan, I requested from Santa one thing, and the one thing be a PS5. Santa wrote back to me and said, "I'm not paying $1,500 from a scalper for a PS5. Do you just want the money?" I'm like, "Nah, I'll just buy it in 6 months when it's finally in stock." So thank you, Santa, for letting me know.
Exact same boat.
I got my big present I wanted, which is like everyone was like, "That's a trap gift." I got a treadmill. I wanted a vacuum, pots and pans, and a treadmill. Apparently, those are not good things to ask your husband for Christmas.
Vacuum, pots, pans, treadmill.
Mm-hmm.
I like them.
Yeah, those are trap gifts. Like, did he get them for you? I'm like, yeah. Is that bad? Like,
if you ask, right? If you ask,
what I wanted.
Yeah,
I can't say what it is, but I feel like I hit my wife's gift out of the park,
Nailed
and
it.
I'm very excited.
Yes.
So
Maggie and I already exchanged gifts because she is back home. So we exchanged gifts over the weekend.
Maggie.
Where's Maggie from?
Pensacola, sitting there in beautiful Florida.
And then
Up
you're
on-
going
Girl.
Yeah, up on the Panhandle. So we did our Christmas over the weekend because obviously she wasn't going to be here. So yeah, she got me it's pretty cool because I like to cook. It's a cast iron like like hibachi table kind of. It's just a smaller version. Oh yeah, it's pretty sweet. Excited to use it. Very excited to use it.
My husband and I are actually having our Christmas. We do it on Christmas Eve. So when his kids come over for Christmas with their parents, it's all about them. And so we just do our Christmas earlier.
Nice.
So this is technically our Christmas Eve. So we'll have our Christmas tomorrow morning. So
Nice.
But I already know what I got.
Yeah.
Clearly.
So shout out the bird if you're watching and listening, because I know she likes watching when Lauren's on. She used to say
Love Maggie.
that I only listen to the show when Lauren's on.
I remember that.
But
Oh my God, I love her. I
but
love you,
Lauren,
Maggie.
listen to for Josh and Ryan, we have gotten to the point where Maggie actually listens to us weekly because she enjoys us.
Yep.
That's Ryan's doing, Josh.
I was just going to say.
Absolutely, it's
Okay,
right. Why do
fair
you think I invited him on the show?
To get Maggie to listen.
Exactly.
I mean,
that's one more viewer, damn it.
Maggie is one of the sweetest, most beautiful human beings on the planet. She's so sweet and kind. I've never met her in person, but every time I see like a post from her, I'm like, oh, sunshine. Like that's what I think of when I see Maggie. Just
And her
sunshine.
graphic game is on point.
Oh yeah, she is incredibly talented.
She's taught me a thing or two, so
Yeah.
appreciate it. All right, let's wrap this up with some blurred lines here.
Let's
All right,
do it.
I got 2 for you for the holidays because I found 2, and I was like, all right, I like both of these. Baltimore minus 10.5 against the Giants. The Giants are just that bad.
I'm sorry, I wasn't laughing at you, Joe.
Oh no, you're good. You're
John
good.
just said apparently I'm from 1957.
Yeah, with
Because
the
I want a
vacuum
vacuum
and
and
pots
Boston
and
pants and a treadmill.
Yeah, why not? I would love some pots and pans. I got my I got the, I love it. I need new pots.
We
Yes,
like
we-
to cook, so when
say
you like
we
to
did-
cook and,
Yeah.
yeah,
I
you're
feel-
in the kitchen daily, constantly.
Well, what's funny is I respect the hell out of my wife and love her for this wonderful life she's provided. I feel bad that I'm always buying her cooking instruments, but she loves to fucking cook. So.
Yeah, that's why it's like almost sets up as like trap gifts. And like if Jeff told anyone like, what did you want to get your wife? Like a vacuum, pots and pans, and a treadmill, like you're gonna be dead. Like
Yep.
I'll get you like someone's gonna hire me a good lawyer without even knowing.
Yeah. And the second line for you, lovely. No, you're good. No, you're good. I just got
why
to
he's
keep going.
We go off, he gets us back
I
on.
just keep going. Yep.
Why we
That's
have
because he's dad.
Yeah, I am dad. I do dad things. Dallas plus 2.5 at home against the Eagles. The only reason I like this line is because Dallas is getting 2.5 at home. That's
think
the
it's
only
gonna be
reason.
a shootout. I think that game is going to be a fun game to watch.
I agree. 100% agree.
I have a feeling I'm going to be pulling my hair out while watching this game.
Yes.
Yeah, I think Dalton has settled into that offense, and Andy Dalton, not a world beater by any means of the word, but he is a guy that can win you a football game. He's shown that before. So I think, yeah, against a rough Eagles defense, I think Andy Dalton, CeeDee Lamb are going to have a great day. I think Tony Pollard in the passing game is going to have a great day. Dalton Schultz, Josh, he is one of your confidence plays this week.
Yep.
So I think that game is going to be a classic Eagles Cowboys back and forth shootout.
Yeah, this is going to be a slugfest.
Yeah.
Yep.
And Slay practice this week, so hopefully he plays. But, I mean, again, after watching DK abuse him, I have a feeling that Amari Cooper's probably going to have a good game this week. So.
Amari Cooper likes to just disappear, though. At
Yes,
points.
but this is a home game.
Yeah, you're right. Home games, he does like to play football. But yeah, I the only reason I like Dallas 2.5, I don't know if Dallas wins, but I think if they lose, it's going to be in a real close fashion. If that line moves to +3, smash it, because I think at minimum you're going to push. So I love Dallas. I love teams getting points at home, so I take Dallas. And also one that wasn't against the analytics, they were actually 50.1% favored to cover, was Washington, and I believe they're favored by 1.5 at home. I love Washington this week. Regardless of who's at quarterback, Rex Ryan's going to come with an unbelievable defensive game plan against this former team.
You mean Ron Rivera?
Ron Rivera.
Who did I say?
Rex Ryan.
Ryan.
Like,
I was
did I miss
running
something?
through my head. I'm like, what
too.
have I missed?
It's like,
Joe's done for the day. I guess I'm taking over.
I know I slept in today.
Like,
Why the hell did I say Rex Ryan?
well, my favorite was,
Must even
Where
know,
did
dude.
that come from?
at first I was like, okay, did I miss
That was
something?
like a full Stephen A moment right there, man.
What the?
And then when you said former team, I was like, what? They're playing Carolina.
Where the hell did Rex Ryan come from?
I don't know, Dad. You're losing it.
I don't like Rex Ryan. Like what?
I wonder. Now I want to go back and watch the show. I wonder if you can see the three of us hold our breath when you said Rex Ryan. 'Cause I think every one of us was like, when the fuck did Rex Ryan go to Washington?
I couldn't even tell you where
This
I
is
pulled
now
that from.
twice I've done cried laughing today. So.
Listen, I'll say I did it on purpose for the laughs because that's what counts, right? In all reality, Rex Ryan came down from the moon, apparently, because that's where he's been.
I think you've gotten so busy sending people to the moon, you've got that moon atmosphere in your head.
I don't even watch
clouding things.
So I'm for anyone who is watching, if you can like go back and take a screenshot of right after Joe said Rex Ryan for the looks on our faces, and we're like,
I don't even watch Sunday NFL Countdown.
We all
so it's like,
we all told in our head like dogs. Like,
why is Rex Ryan in my head?
I mean, there's lots of R's. Rex Ryan, Ron Rivera. It's very alliterative.
yes.
That's another SAT word for you.
I guess, but like,
I'm now all stuffy again, and I'm literally, my eyes are puffy and my cheeks hurt.
but like, one guy is actually a respectable head coach, and the other's Rex Ryan. Like, how did I even put them in the same sentence?
They don't even look alike.
No, one's fat, and the other is very, very fit. Like, very, very fit for his age.
I don't think Rex Ryan's fat anymore though. He got the surgery.
The lap band, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Rex
Or
Rex
gastric
Ryan will
bypass or
Rex
something?
Ryan will always be fat in our hearts.
That's
He'll always be fat in our hearts.
He has an abundance of joy
Yeah.
for fast food and chicken wings. I don't know.
Him
Let's
and
get a snack.
his brother Rob look like two.
And his brother Ron Rivera.
Yeah. Rob, Rex, and Ron. That is confusing. Oh. No, I was gonna say him and his brother Rob look like two white Hershey Kisses.
Well, I was gonna say Rivera, Spanish for Ryan.
Bilingue. I can't.
I got a 79 in Spanish too. 79. 99 Spanish 1,
shit.
79 Spanish 2. I figured
I
if I
literally
kept
can't speak.
losing 20 points, I would fail Spanish 3, so I stopped.
I love it.
They, quit while you're somewhat ahead. And I quit after Spanish 2 because that's all I needed to pass high school was 2 language credits.
I took Latin.
That was fun.
Man.
Rex Ryan, what the fuck?
It was bad.
I really need that screenshot of right after you said it. We're all thinking like, did we just hear Rex Ryan? We did hear Rex Ryan. What does he know that we
But
don't
I didn't
know?
even know that I said it.
Things
Like,
were happening.
Rex Ryan was subconsciously in my head, and that worries me.
Well, yeah.
It should.
Why is he subconsciously in my head? I don't watch Sunday NFL Countdown.
Maggie, he needs help.
Oh,
Yes.
God.
Yeah, apparently he can't function when Maggie's not
Maggie
No.
Maggie leaves town immediately. Rex Ryan on
Rex
the brain.
Ryan. Dad, do we need to have a sit down?
Stop calling him dad.
I can't.
Yeah, yes, daughter. What is yes, daughter. What is that? God, I need to figure out terminology when I have kids. I hope I don't have a girl.
Oh, now you're guaranteed to have a girl. That's almost a guarantee.
Listen. If I need to have a boy. So I've said this, right? We'll end the show on this. So Merry Christmas, everyone. Happy Hanukkah that has passed.
I
Merry
hope you guys got a
Kwanzaa.
good laugh because we did.
So I have always said this because I heard this from a comedian, and I forget which one.
I hope
Rex
it's
Ryan?
a joke. I think it is.
But it made so much sense. It's about having a girl or a boy, Ryan. I think you
Yep.
know where I'm going. And if you know the comedian, tell me because I forget which
I
comedian
don't.
it is. I want to have a boy because I only have to worry about one dick. I want to have to. I don't have to worry about
All of
like
them.
with a girl. You have to worry about all of them.
Yep.
With a
Dude, that was
boy,
Kevin Hart, I think.
it's just is. I think it is Kevin
I
Hart.
think it
I
was
mean,
Kevin
it's a
Hart.
saying. It's a saying as old as
Is
time.
it?
Yeah, no,
Is
it's
it,
definitely
is it Cat?
Cat Williams.
It's not Cat
Williams.
It's not Cat Williams because I don't watch Cat Williams.
But regardless, you might have heard it from Kevin Hart, but it is a saying as
Morning,
old
Yeah, it's
as
been a
Daddy.
saying.
yeah.
Time for
Yeah.
some cereal. Cat Williams, I love him.
What,
My
what
wife,
was
my
that?
wife wanted a boy so bad she wore a Peyton Manning jersey to the ultrasound.
No, she
Get it,
did
girl.
Yep.
Wow.
Love it.
That's incredible. I love that. All right. we are an hour 45 in because of course we go over with
Oh my
Lauren.
God.
Because we had Lauren on the show.
I know. I'm
Lauren.
sorry.
No,
Lauren's the
Don't
worst.
apologize. Don't
I
ever
will take
apologize.
accountability.
That's 105 minutes of content right there that they deserve. So.
Lauren
Meanwhile, I
is
can't see because my makeup is smeared all over my face. I think.
Lauren's the worst. How dare
I
she
am
come
terrible.
on and join us for almost 2 hours?
That's right.
Make the show a lot of fun.
Oh, thank you. Who? Wait.
We now have this very weird joke
Yeah.
that no one
I
likes.
think Rex Ryan overtakes that.
No,
one, though.
no, because you
No.
guys are forgetting how awkward it was when Joe referred to himself as daddy.
Daddy.
Like you called
I
him
didn't say
daddy,
that.
and that just ruined
I did not
everything.
say that. You did.
Lauren, I made it
got John
funnier.
to go, good lord,
Did you
Joe.
make it funnier? I think
I-
you made it weirder.
I made it funnier.
Sure.
All right,
So
get
hang
us
out
out
with
of
Rex
here.
Ryan,
In the PC world we live in, we gotta have a little fun.
which is funny because my handle is Stepmom, so none of
Yeah.
this makes any sense.
But you can Google Stepmom Lauren now without
Yes.
having to worry about your browser history. So,
I know, yay, go me.
Yeah, congratulations,
Thank
Lauren.
you.
Woo.
It just helps
All
that
right.
I work every day.
Yeah. All right. So we have our Start Sit show on Saturdays, of course, 11 a.m. Eastern, Twitter, Facebook,
We have a
YouTube.
guest this Saturday.
We do have a guest, and the guest is Ryan.
Jeff Greenwood from the Fantasy Football.
Oh, yay!
Yes, we
Popping
get
his
to.
podcast cherry.
Yes.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
I have to
I
tune
can't do
in.
the
Oh my
popping
god, this I'm like proud, and I don't know why. That's very irrational and strange, but I am
So,
really happy.
Proud
Yes,
stepmom
get it,
moment.
Jeff.
My favorite thing that was the first thing he asked is whether he can cuss it or not. I said, yeah, of course.
Yeah,
Go nuts. We don't care.
nobody cares.
Yeah, we do not care. But
Oh,
yeah,
I love it. That's super awesome. Yeah, I'm gonna
Yep.
have to tune in to make sure. I mean, I tune in
Yeah.
anyway, but I'm gonna have to really. Should
Pay
I give him a hard
attention.
time? No. Should I get? I was gonna say like overly comment, but should I give him a hard time? I
Oh,
can't.
please do. This will be
Bust
so
his
much fun.
balls. Yeah.
I can't do
Also,
that.
we're gonna be essentially leading you guys up until the first 1 o'clock game that
Yeah.
day, which is the Buccaneers Lions. So join us 2 hours
Remember,
before.
Thursday games on Friday.
Yep. So be sure to join us 2 hours before the kickoff at 11 a.m. Eastern. And some awesome news for week 17. Obviously, we don't do fantasy football in week 17. We'll talk a little DFS maybe here and there.
We'll make a caveat. Obviously, if you have questions,
Oh, of
ask
course,
them.
yes.
We will
Right.
answer them.
Yes.
This is more of a review show than anything.
Yeah.
Maybe maybe an airing of the grievances because it sounds like Joe really needs one
Yeah.
again.
And we have a hell
when
of a
Pittsburgh
guest.
loses next week, yes, I'm definitely going to rip Pittsburgh apart. Although I may have to be on good behavior because we have a pretty cool guest here.
Yes.
I feel like Josh wants to announce it because he's
Go ahead, dude. It's fine.
he's
I just
been-
booked the guest. That's all.
No, that's fair.
So
Lauren,
you
do you
just did
not,
all the work, but you go ahead and say it.
Lauren, do you not know who the guest is?
I might know.
Oh, you might know. Ooh, interesting. Well, you definitely know who he is. But
Yes.
year in review show, week 17, which will be next Wednesday, December 23rd. Oh, December 30th. Thank you. 7 p.m. Eastern. We have from the NFL Network's Around the NFL podcast, Mark Sesla joining the show.
Yes.
So
That's
very
awesome.
excited. Yes, and
so
I
happy
want
for
to
you guys.
apologize in advance, Mark. I won't be in my apartment, so sorry that your son will not be
See the cool
able.
apartment.
Yes, because if you remember back in the Women Fantasy
Women of
Football
fantasy
show,
football. Yeah,
he
that was
tweeted
super
at the show
cool.
saying that his son said that he loves my apartment, and I'm like, cool. I'm like, I don't like. There's not much to it, so but I appreciate it. I appreciate it. So I'll have to take like a screenshot or something and put it as my green screen background. But
I
yes,
love that. That's sweet.
super excited to have Mark Sessler join us next
Yes.
week. So please tune into that show. That's going to be a fun one. Mark is going to be awesome. We're super excited to have him on. All right. For the One Hudsonian, the Fantasy 5, Stepmom Lauren, and myself, we all wish you a Merry Christmas. If you celebrated Hanukkah, we hope your Hanukkah was amazing. We'll see you before the new year, so join us then. And we'll see you obviously this Saturday at 11 a.m. Eastern. Always remember, defense wins championships. Offense Wins Fantasy Football. You can follow Club Fantasy on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Club Fantasy FFL. The URL is clubfantasyffl.com. Be sure to subscribe on YouTube so you can watch us next week with Mark Sessler from the NFL Network's Around the NFL podcast. We will see you on